Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host TDT, and you can refer to me as Miss T. Make sure that okay. Not sure if you guys heard me. It wasn't plugged up. But welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Y'all saw the caption, the Gypsy King, and pretty much like what they gonna allow him to do. So seems like he could do no wrong. He gets his way. He catches what we call favor. But let's turn to. Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host TDT. I was just trying to set up this phone lines. I'll be over here dancing. This is crazy. Hold on one second. Okay, the phone line's open. So, okay, everything's set up. All right. As y'all know, I always do a water check. It's my 11th water for the day. That when I'm done with that'll be 88 ounces. I see Demetrius Bright is in the building with Popping King. He coming with the Salute Queen Tea and Fam Blessing, 85 ounces. There you go. So Demetrius, we're gonna let people pile in, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I tried it. I tried the concoction. You getting jiggy with that shit. It's not bad tasting. Me and Demetrius juice, you guys. So that's what we're talking about. But it's not bad tasting. The sweet potato with the two Honey Crisp apples. It's not horrible. I've tasted worse. This will be a mental challenge for me. Why? Because I'm used to eating sweet potatoes the way I eat them. And truth be told, I only eat them once a year. And let me tell you, and we all grown folks here, when I eat a sweet potato, it's like a damn laxative. I don't know about nobody else, but it would clear me out. Like if I was ever constipated or I had, some trouble clearing myself out, I can eat a sweet potato. It can be as sweet, like a sweet potato pie. It could be yams. Just the fact that it's a sweet potato, oh my God, it clears me out. So I have to be careful when I'm eating it. And I'm glad I drank it in the morning. I went to the store this morning and got the ingredients. And I'm glad I drank it this morning because whew, I think I'm cleared out by now. What you think about that? It's an acquired taste. I'm gonna say that. And I'm gonna also say that, it's something to get used to. So for me, it's gonna be a mental challenge to get past the fact that in my head, I like sweet potato or I eat sweet potato the way I eat it. So for me to start juicing it, I'll tell you this, it tastes better than juicing a white potato. It does do that. Um, Somebody asked me one time on my wellness show through email, they was like, how do like name a couple of, good little so-called vegan meals or whatever. Listen, and I know some of you guys don't even come to the wellness show, but if you do, yes, it's important to try to go vegan, but we are all a particular age and we get there how we get there, right? So my aspiration in life is not to be a total vegan, but I've turned more to eating, the vegan way as much as I can. As I tell on my wellness show, you want to do this before the damage is done. I already have the damage. I got a damaged heart. I'm missing 4 organs. The damage is done. So how it works for you, a person that's not in my predicament, gonna be way better than what it does for me. But it keeps me healthy. So Demetra say, pretty good, right? You have to play with it on how many apples you want to add to the sweet potatoes. Yeah, I I don't know why they call it sweet potatoes. And it must got more sugar in it than other stuff that can grow out the ground. Just like beets. If you serve beets, they're not sweet. Not to me. But if you juice a beet, that shit is so sweet. Have anybody ever tried that? 4 pears with cinnamon, real good, but you better stay close. So you're making diuretics without the backlash because, water pills and all that type of stuff you can take as medicine. They're diuretics too, or other things over the counter or prescribed can be diuretics. And yeah, it can have some, I ain't gonna say damaging, but non-favorable results where you could be in the bathroom all day long. And that's not what uh you aspire to do on a daily basis. But it's not bad. It wasn't bad. I was sipping it at first. I got through the whole glass. It wasn't terrible, but again, for me right now, it's a mental block, but I'll get over that. I can get over that. Because sweet potato is good. If you could eat a sweet potato every day, you should. In fact, if you can eat a potato every day, you should. Because the potato is actually like a multivitamin. It's the same. Everything you can find on the ingredients on the label of a multivitamin, you can find that in one potato. So white potatoes, sweet potatoes, they're both good. Between the two, it's always when you compare two of the same kind of foods, the one that has the color or the darkest color is always going to be the most potent and most nutritional. But wow, what made you think of that, Demetrius? What made my phone line's open. We can kick it in the beginning. You know, you can learn me something. On the show I did say too, some people will take it and go way past what I do. And some people will probably do exactly what I do or way less. It's to each his own. I figured out how to make food be your medicine. I didn't try to. It's just something I was trying to figure out because I was trying to help myself. As I told y'all, I was at 15 back in this last summer, 15 pills per day. I mean, gotta take them every day. And you gotta take them strategically. Like some pills, my thyroid pills, I had to take them first thing in the morning. I mean, first thing in the morning. Sometimes I've trained myself to wake up like 5:36, even if I don't have to be up just to take them because I try to match them with my circadian rhythm. Um, and I take them. I will always for life. I will never get rid of those 2 pills. Um, And then you can't eat or drink, like, I mean, you can drink water, but you can't eat um before you take the thyroid pills. They don't suggest. You can't take no other pill with it because it would negate what the thyroid pills is trying to do. So, you know, you said when I juice, I think it's a bit of a delay when y'all writing in the chat, just a little bit. It gets here. That's why I always be like, call in, Demetrius. When I juice, I want to make it a meal. Yeah, yeah. They recommend that men drink like 36 ounces a meal. Are you doing that, or 32 for women? But some people will find out they can't drink that much. I can knock down 20 easy. 25 is when I'm like, okay, I had enough. 25 is when I get like that. Like I be like, I had enough. I can't do no more. So how about yourself, Demetrius? Hey, Demetrius can tell you it's not bad. It's not bad. You're not hungry. You're not hungry like you think you might be. You're not hungry. He's come up with some ideas I haven't even thought. I could tell you that potatoes, period, are the best to have in your diet, period. It helps with dementia, you know, all that stuff. You know, it helps Alzheimer's. You'll never see a book that really say it, but it does. They realized this back when Columbus came to America's, and I say America's because he didn't come to where we live, America. He was in the Americas, which is all of this in the Western Hemisphere where we are. Um, Back then, the white settlers, they gained a lot from coming over here and learned a lot. And one of it was potatoes, believe it or not, and something with horses. Demetrius Bright, 32 ounces to a liter of juice at least twice a day. Yeah. They was like 36 for men per meal, 32 for women per meal. They'll tell you can do three of them, like 3 meals of 32 ounces. I can tell you right now, I can't even do it. PGH Big Dog is in the building, was popping King. He said, salute Queen T. Salute to you too, King. Demetrius said, I mainly use the fruit as my dessert. Have you learned how to make ice cream, Demetrius? With just fruit? I have. It's the only way I can eat it anyway. PGH Big Dog said, Fury Juice changed him from a pillow fist to a KO artist. Sure did. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to get into it. But feel free to jump in, Demetrius, with anything you want to share when it comes to recipes and stuff like that, because some of us are interested. Yeah, PGH. I think he never had power to begin with. I'm believing them stories and them videos that guy made years ago when he was taking the stuffing out the gloves. He never was. You know what makes him have any kind of thump to his shit is he's a big ass dude. That's about it. Now I will say he moves pretty good for a big man. You know what I'm saying? He moves, and you talking about his KO ability. That's the best that's the best thing he got on his record is KO and Deontay Wilder. That's the best. I don't think he'll ever get no higher than that. Now, mind you, SPGH said before all that, he won't knocking nobody out like talking about it. That's why I say, and I agree with PGH. He probably is on some juice, different juice than what me and Demetrius taking, but he on somebody juice. Well, he's sipping that tea like a mug. He on that scissor. But Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn has got their own little match. But you remember, I'm gonna keep saying this because I'm noticing and I'm counting. since the suit drop. we got I showed you the Christmas Carol yesterday, but since the suit drop, I said that Bob is going to be a regular Santa Claus. He's going to be gifting things. He's going to be doing what he probably should have been doing all along. So right now, I took some notes about, Bob and what's going on, but it's all under the umbrella of Eddie Hearn and Joshua. So y'all bear with me. So Eddie Hearn and Joshua is set to announce who Joshua's training person or head trainer going to be, and they're going to do it like right before the fight, like basically right when camp start. He's going to do a 12-week camp. Do that sound odd to you guys? PGH, what about you? I've always heard of 8-week camps. Joshua doing a 12-week camp. What y'all think about that? Like, that's just out of the norm, but that just shows you to me. I know this gonna sound crazy, that Joshua ain't as all that as everybody try to make him out to be. He's a good fighter, but that's all I can say. And looking back, that's all he ever was. But you know what? He had an appeasing look. He had an appeasing look that they felt that was sellable. And y'all know how I feel about him getting all those titles in the first place. If it weren't for Parker and Charles Martin being hard up for cash, dot. This is just my opinion. I think that they did sell it, the belts. I just feel like they did. I can't prove it. I'm not in their head. I don't know them or anything. But I'm judging by how they fought after they had the fight with AJ. And I'm thinking to myself, why couldn't you do that in the ring? But anywho, so they're gonna be not announcing his new trainer. Do y'all have a clue who that might be? I kind of got a clue. And I'm speculating when I say who I think it is. But what y'all think it is? Who do y'all think it is, for that matter? Because I'm thinking Rodney Shields. Anybody thinking like me? Anybody thinking what Miss T thinking? Demetri said might be overtraining, may hurt him in the fight, will get tired faster and will not be as sharp. Exactly. And that's why I say he can't be all that. This man been fighting for years and he doesn't have a winning formula. Sometimes you can lose and you just wasn't a better man that night. You just wasn't the better man. But when you start going and trying to revamp everything, if you didn't see them flaws way before you lost, then I don't get it. Winning every time is not promised to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Floyd was who he is. Floyd has a purpose. He might not even know what his purpose is, but that's why he was blessed to be, to have the record he got. But that don't mean Joshua got to have it, or any other fighter for that matter. PGH said not Floyd. Now, I don't think Floyd got that kind of time to give to nobody. It has to be something in it for Floyd. No offense, Floyd, but you are what you are. You still the best. TBE, at least on my list, you still the best. Now, your antics outside of boxing, like fight, like in the ring or whatever, I'm not even gonna speak on. PGA said he better try to KO Usyk. That boxing shit ain't. Yes, I agree with you, PGH. And why you say that? Because if you saying it because what I think you saying it for, I'm just saying Usyk, I think, is a better boxer. Are you saying it just simply because of that? Or you just think at this point, AJ has burnt out? I think personally, I think he on the tail end of his career. What y'all think about that? Yeah, so boxing ain't gonna help him. You know what I'm saying? AJ fights with a lot of fear. And kudos to him for, winning the Olympics. I think he was a gold medalist in 2012. Kudos for him for having a boxing career. He made all that damn money. He's rich. He'll be able to take care of his kids real good. It's the glass is half full for him. But Should he be a heavyweight these days? I don't think so. He has too much fear. You said Usyk is a master boxer. AJ only chance is to try to KO him, but he gotta outbox him to KO him. He has to put himself in position so he can get the knockout. And pretty much, I don't think it's a winning strategy when somebody come in strictly just to knock you out. And I love Deontay Wilder, and he did that a couple of times. The only person that possibly can be a winning strategy, and as we saw, not all the time, is Deontay Wilder, because he one of them dudes that got that kind of power. But to everybody else, I don't think it's a winning strategy. What y'all think? To come into a fight and try to outbox somebody, or not try to outbox him, but just try to set up the punch so you can knock him out. You asking to get caught because you got a one track mind at that point. You're not 3-dimensional in your thinking, and so that's why I think you're gonna get caught. PGA said no. He has to make it a war. Be the bigger man. I agree. I can see that too. But he has to box him right a little bit and strategically set up that shot. Should he be looking for a PGH? Should he be looking for the knockout, or should he just, when it presents itself, go for it? That's how I'm thinking he should be. But I think this trainer that they're gonna announce is gonna be Rodney Shields. Why do I believe that? Because he came over here earlier and he worked with him. Like, out of all the people he so-called supposed to been interviewing and hanging with, he did more. He spent a lot more time with Rodney. It's the way the Charlos will speak of him or talk, the little things that they say. I just try to analyze everything. Being an analyst taught me you pay more attention to the things leading up to something, and then after the event or whatever happens, you pay more attention to what goes on afterwards, because that's going to teach you how a person moves. That really does. And so that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the event. I'm looking at the stuff that led up to that event. I'm looking at the stuff that led after the event. And then that's going to give me an idea how to predict things going forward, or to see even past their BS. He said he got to bully Usyk. I indeed, he gonna have to show him he the man, and make Bully be on the defense instead of, Bully, make Usyk be on the defense instead of Usyk being on offense. ATL Unanimous Boxing Sport is in the building. What's poppin', King? At Miss T, salute Queen. Nothing but love. Nothing but love for you too, sir. Yeah, and so it's not gonna shock me. Now, my analytical skills don't mean that I'm always right, because in analyzing stuff, you're not always right. And I take that, but from what I can see, I bet you it's Rodney Shields. And somebody said it wasn't Floyd. PGA's not Floyd. Yeah, Floyd don't got that kind of time. What Floyd would have to teach him to beat Usyk, he don't got that kind of time, and AJ ain't gonna pick it up. And AJ is a risk, when he fight anybody. It might as well be like a free for all. Tyson Fury was never undisputed, but if he have to face AJ to get it, he's going to be undisputed, because AJ fights with fear. Am I the only one to see that? Do y'all see that in him? Because I see that. But they pushing this narrative like, we'll tell y'all 12 weeks out from the fight who AJ's trainer gonna be. And I think it's hogwash. Now, see, this is what my little analytical bug in my head be saying. So why would you tell people that? Because fighting is all about getting the leverage, right? Am I right, y'all? Especially when a fighter seems like they got leverage over the next fighter, they use that to their advantage, correct? Right? You remember Floyd and all them access 24/7s or whatever he used to run right out of coming out of a club or something. And some of the things he would say, because I know my opponent is sleeping right now. It makes you, if you feel it, as Deontay said, you speak it, believe it, receive it. If you feel it and you believe it, you can make shit be a reality. So if you're telling the folks out here in the boxing streets that you're gonna announce your trainer 12 weeks out, like when the camp start, because he didn't just say 12 weeks out. He said when my camp start 12 weeks. So one, why you got 12-week camps? As Demetri said, there's a chance you can overtrain. Oh, I missed this, Demetri. You said Garcia and Rodney. Yeah, I'm with you on the Rodney. He'll be a fool if he go to Garcia. Their strategy is outdated and should be put to pasture. But so you telling us that you do realize that your opponent can be using that as leverage, because it's not a winning strategy to switch up trainers in midstream. Midstream would be 12 weeks out. You know what I'm saying? Like if you said I'm gonna get a trainer starting January, but your fight ain't till September, that's a different thing. But to get a trainer that's gonna start 12 weeks, which is your whole camp, and then you have your fight, you're telling the world too much. And it could be done on purpose. I look at it like he playing possum. Cause if I was Usyk over there, I'd be thinking, you got a new trainer. And you're gonna try to implement what he wants you to do, and you're gonna supposedly have picked up what he tried to teach you, when we know that is not enough time to make something a habit. You help them build the strategy. Or is AJ and them doing this on purpose to make Usyk think that and make him train a certain way and then surprise him? That's the thing. But I think AJ's inability to, really be that top dog heavyweight it boils down to he has fear. And I think if Floyd recognized that in him, Floyd ain't gonna want no parts of him. Floyd is too masculine for to be around a person that's a scaredy cat. So, I think there's something to be said about them putting that out there. And I would, like I said, I would not be shocked if it's Rodney Shields rolling up at the training camp. But here's the thing, Rodney Shields been working with him already behind the scenes. Now I could be wrong, but from video clips and things that people say, that's my best guess. And that's my speculation, that he been working with him all along. And if that's so, that Usyk he better dot his I's and cross his T's and be on his P's and Q's. Do y'all think that AJ been working with Rodney all along? Or is that just me? I could be wrong. But they playing possum. And Usyk better not fall for it. He better do whatever he did to get there. He better keep doing it and more. But I wrote right from that, basically saying Aram, because Aram is with Tyson Fury, and eventually that's what Tyson is trying to get to. He's trying to get to AJ. He prefers AJ. I don't think that Tyson don't think he can beat Usyk, but he wants that undisputed. And I'm telling you, when he get it, he done. Now, Bob and him be dropping nuggets that I be like, they be doing it all the time when they thinking about their future endeavors with Tyson Fury. One being, they keep talking like it's a forlorn conclusion that they're gonna have a fight in the UK. Fury is banned from the UK. How is that possible? What are they not telling us? Has his license been uplifted? Has the charges that he had over there dropped? Has everything adjudicated? These are relevant questions the world want to know. Tyson Fury fights over here in the first place because he couldn't fight over there. And right now he's out of shape. I don't know if y'all see my page blinking. That's not me. I don't know. Wi-Fi. Bob Arum messing with my Wi-Fi. I'm just joking. But Dillian White and Tyson Fury, we know the situation with that. They're not relevant fighters to me, but I'm following the belt. I'm not really following the fighters, I'm following the belt. The only reason I follow Tyson Fury is because right now, look at the atmosphere we live in boxing now. It seemed like racism and unfair treatment to fighters and this fugazi stuff that go on is coming to a head and it's being addressed. And I think the catalyst is Bud dropping his suit. I wouldn't be surprised if others are dropping it. I wouldn't be surprised of, maybe somebody gonna start suing these sanctioning bodies. It's a lot of people that can get sued. I wouldn't be surprised if the WBC will start having IRS problems. Don't be on the lookout for that. Because I'm telling you, they got a nonprofit that they're not running like a nonprofit. So be on the lookout for that. And that means you probably owe Uncle Sam a lot of money. And you see, you don't gotta be from this country for you to owe Uncle Sam money, but he gonna get his money. Look at Pacquiao. Pacquiao is senator over there in the Philippines, running for president. I don't know if that election even took place or did he lose or what, or did he win? I don't have a dog in the race. But Pacquiao owed Uncle Sam some money. And there's no way you can go in this world to hide from that. Because all of them people that live in other countries got some kind of ties or investments through the US. This is where they make their bread and butter. And you don't want to be having a problem with Uncle Sam now or the future, because it's going to fuck up a lot of your shit. And your money is going to be coming through things, is secured through investments or whatever here in America. For instance, if Bob Arum pays you, it's from his payroll, right? He's an American. His shit is set up here. Before he can even get it out his company to you, and you live over wherever, like a Pacquiao or something. I just use him as an example. Uncle Sam gonna tax that ass. So, WBC President Mauricio Suleiman need to walk. He need to walk the straight and narrow too. And since this suit, look at Bob, Mr. Promoter. He on the campaign like he running for promoter of the year, ain't he? What y'all think? I'm counting all the gains that's coming from this suit. We already said Shakur Stevens got the fight that he wanted because of the suit. We got another game today too, and I'm going to get to that number 2. And shit, every day I'm going to count them. But Bob Arum is now advising Dillian White to get the molasses out of his ass. Eddie Hearn kind of said the same thing. Eddie is very supportive of Dylan with whatever legal stuff he got to be involved with the WBC. Apparently, as I said before, when you have, I guess because Dillian has been on this short list for being a mandatory for WBC for a while, he has since even way back, I guess starting with Deontay, Dillian has fought 2 title eliminators. When you do that, now I never knew this, so y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I'm asking, but I'm also making a statement because I read this. But if you have 2 title eliminators, then your purse split will be 55-45. Because I've never heard of a fighter ask for 55-45 in purse splits. I've heard 80-20, 70-30, 60-40, but 55-45. Have you guys heard of somebody asking like that? I was wondering where he get that number from. But apparently it's in the books that if you have 2 title eliminators, because you're supposed to be the mandatory, but things happen, you don't get your fight. But if you have 2 title eliminators, then this purse split rises up to 55-45. Has anybody ever heard of that? Y'all let me know. But this is what Dillian is screaming. This is what he's mad about. because he's like, it's only fair that I get, the 55-45. And he's willing to go into a legal battle where today was a deadline for them to come to a decision. And I think they moved it to January 21st, like this Friday, to get it done too. I think they gave them some time to secure something. I know I read that somewhere. I'm gonna run across it. I know I wrote it down because it was today. They were supposed to be deciding that. The problem with Dillian is I don't know how that's gonna work, but leave it to Tyson Fury to be clever and Bob because if they come back, if they extended it to Friday, and so they come back from the decision Friday, it's almost like Dillian got to jump on the deal that day. If it was today, he has to jump on the deal that fast because him hesitating and waiting can only give fodder to Tyson Fury and team to move on the way they want to. For some reason, they do not want to fight Dillian White. They won't say why, but they don't. Demetrius said not those percentages. I don't know. I read it. Yeah. I don't know. I've never heard of it. And I also, like I said, I never heard of anybody asking for that. I just assume they'll be like 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, something like that, 50-50. Just never heard of nobody saying 55-45. I don't know where that comes from. But apparently that's the thing. What percentages would it be, Demetrius? That's interesting to know. And see, hey, we just learned something. Well, when I read it, I feel like I just learned something because I've never heard of that, experienced it or anything. But their deadline was today. If they don't reach an agreement, Fury will be given the opportunity to seek out another opponent. Man, that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. If you're tied up in legalities, you just have to wait till that's over. Like he is the mandatory. That Dillian is gonna take something. He just want to get, I guess, what he feel he's owed. Do anybody else know anything about that when you do 2 title eliminators, how the percentages change, what they become? That would be interesting to know, right? Because we got a lot of people going through purse bids and stuff like that, not just in the heavyweight, in the lightweight, in the welterweight. We got a bidding going on, a bidding war that we probably ain't privy to with Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum on 2 different fronts, 2 different flanks. They bidding with the Tyson Fury and Dillian White, but they also bidding with the Cambosos and the what you call them, Cambosos and the Devin Haney. So it's some serious stuff going on. That's why I say this suit has made Bob rejuvenate or recharge and start acting like a real promoter. Not saying he the greatest. I'm just saying he seemed like he's trying to do the right thing. He seemed like it. We don't know, smoke and mirrors with Bob, but he seemed like he's attempting to do the right thing for all his fighters. Demetrius said, like you said, anything normal, 75-25, 80-20, 60-40. I don't know, but he seemed to think that he has a case. That's why Dillian ain't letting it go. I mean, and if it is a rule, Demetrius, if it is a rule, don't y'all think he should go for that? Because you don't want to after the fight or later, no matter who win or lose, be like, man, I should if I'd have just, because then you shortchanging yourself, right? Sensory Pictures is in the building with Poppin' King. I don't think Fury can substitute an opponent. Not in this case. Hearn wants it to go to a purse bid. See, I'm with you, Sensory. This is what I mean by Fury gets to do whatever the hell he wants. I'm checking for that. I'm checking for everything that this man do, how he move. Sensory also said he's trying to salvage his relationship with Disney. Who you saying, Bob? Bob, yeah, you don't want to get on the bad side of Disney, boy. That ain't good business. Sir Ant Bo in the building was Poppin' King. He said Usyk a master boxer now. at PGH Big Dog, I don't know. So yeah, so I don't blame I can't blame Dillian. Y'all know I don't like taco meat. You know I don't like them. I don't like Fury either, because I look at them as cheaters. As I will always say that, may the best cheater win. But it's very interesting, and I would love to be a fly on the wall to find out what is it about Dillian White that Fury don't want no parts of, because he don't want no parts of this man. He'll fight anybody but Dillian. Sensory said, yeah, Bob. So, you know what opponent they trying to come up with? Some guy named Manuel Char. Anybody know this dude? Sir Himbo said, salute Queen and chat. You said he's just as big. Mm-hmm. Anybody know Manuel Char? That is going to be the next opponent for Tyson Fury. This is what Bob wants. See, Fury has problems with authority. He doesn't like a typical gypsy. He don't want to follow and be in compliance with regulatory law or rules. He just don't want to. It's the principle for him. He doesn't want to. We don't know exactly why he doesn't want to fight Dillian White. I'm not sure what that's about. But Bob is doing everything for this man, and he always has. From the moment Bob signed him, there was no way that Bob could glean at his career and see that he was a moneymaker. There's no way he could see that. With Deontay, we saw that made money, but it ain't make what they made subsequently, fighting later. But still, $100 million contract. See, that's somebody I will point to as a person that Top Rank show favor to in that suit that Bud got. Like, look how he do his business different. But we have to remember that whole suit is not about racial, whatever. But somehow or another, that's going to come up because they got to show a pattern. They're going to have to show a pattern. And looking at Tyson Fury, Bob rolls the carpet out for this dude. Bob ain't lose no money on Tyson Fury. All his other fights don't make no money, none. But yet Bob is willing to throw anybody at us as fans. Like Manuel Char, who is that? Who is that dude? Fury doesn't want a tough fight after the trilogy. No way. Yeah, all he want is an opportunity to get them belts and go down the history books. That's all he wants. He ain't gonna defend them. He didn't want to defend the WBC that he got now. He don't want to defend it. He want to go straight to Usyk or straight to Joshua. His best bet is Joshua because Joshua fights in fear. To Bob, Fury is the key to the Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, I can see that. He's the bridge. He's the one who bridged the gap, huh? He's the go-between. He's the middleman between Bob and the KKK, huh? That what you're saying? But he don't want to fight Dillian. Two things to watch out for where we need to be, watching and be in the uproar if they happen. Because we're not getting the full picture. And see, this is what I mean by when I be analyzing, I be thinking about the befores, not just the event, but the before leading up to the event. The event being a fight, the event being some kind of action that the WBC took or something they did, and then everything after. I'm listening to everything they say. One, Fury don't want to fight Dillian. We're never gonna get the reason, but he don't want to fight Dillian. Our guess is as good as anything. We can speculate all day on that. Two, they gave a date, March 26th, which I think is fugazi, but that was their way of putting on the face that, hey, we're moving on without you. If you tell a lie enough, it becomes the truth. Bob talks like Fury got a license to fight in the UK. Has anybody, because I haven't, heard about his license being given back to him to fight in the UK? That's important to know. Since we say Bob values the white audience, that's why he's where he is now. Exactly. But he loses Bob money, and Lomachenko don't make Bob money like that. But I don't know how. That's just crazy. If you all about money, how you shit on people just because they black or they Mexican or they whatever. I couldn't even tell you, because money is its own religion. Money is its own culture, and it's something we all subscribe to, right? If I got a fighter that I know can make me money and it's big time, I could care less what shell they come in. I need that money, right? Sensory, he gave a speculation. He said White is a puncher. He's quick and he's durable because of his size. Yeah, I said that too. That getting big, the tactics that he used on Wilder will not work with White. And it barely worked with what's his name? Otto Wallin. Isn't that the dude that split his eye? And then he said it's bigger than money. I think Bob and them get paid way more than the fighters, and then take a cut of their check to throw insult to injury. But we got to look out for how is he going to fight in the UK if it hasn't been adjudicated? That's important, because it's going to go. The one thing we're in as boxing fans right now, we're in the zone of addressing racism, addressing unfairness. We're in that zone. We cannot we have to keep that pressure on all of them across the board, because it has to stop everywhere. Unfairness and crooked corruption and all that anywhere in boxing is unfairness, crooked corruption everywhere in boxing. So when we got our, we putting the pressure on, we are changing some things. We are making them move, because look what we did after the Macau Fox fight, how the WBA quickly changed up some of their fugazi shit. So we can't let up. And following Tyson Fury is part of the equation, because he is the prototype of what's wrong with boxing. He really is. And I'm not talking about his talent as a boxer. I'm talking about all this extracurricular shit he do in the name of boxing. If we let him get away with getting his license and nobody explained to us how is that possible, or he was able to cheat like he did with no consequences, just because it's him and his opponent suffered, it don't mean that it don't affect everybody else and all of us, even different weight classes, different fighters. We can't let him just walk around through boxing like that. You can't do it. Fury probably won't fight in the UK. They're trying to make this Usyk fight in Saudi. Yeah, they are, but Bob keep talking about it, and I was like, well, why is he saying that? I haven't figured that one out just yet. If his next fight isn't Dillian, how did we have to ask those questions? How did he get away with that? Because if Fury get away with it, there will be another white fighter, like a Lomachenko, like a whoever, who can get away and work their way around rules too, and find the loopholes that nobody else can find. And we're not gonna like it. Like right now, Bob is trying to get Lomachenko the Kambosos fight. None of us like it. None of us like it. But he'll find a way. But we got to keep the pressure on his neck. Sensory pictures. Bob is full of shots, sis. Shiznicks, yes, I agree. And this the piece de la resistance to me. This is where people are co-signing and getting involved when they shouldn't. If we allow anything that I've just talked about with Tyson Fury to happen, what about the sanctioning bodies? We know out of the four, I was gonna say out of the three, out of the four, the worst to me is the WBC. They're the worst. Now, Tyson Fury and Bob Arum keep saying that they're going to fight their next fight for a Ring Magazine title. Be aware to all my casuals looking at it at me, that is not a real belt. Is ran by, owned by Oscar De La Hoya. It's an opinionated like magazine. It was like an opinionated magazine. I'm not saying their opinions were always wrong or whatever, but it was opinion based, and they had some facts in it. But how does that become a sanctioning belt? You got the IBO belt that been around for decades. They not even one of the belts that you need to even be undisputed. So you said you're a smart sister. Thank you. Um, Bought and paid for. So that WBC belt, a fighter has it. To my knowledge, I can't think of a fighter who can get a fight and his opponent say, I'm not gonna fight for that belt. As hard as it is to get the opportunity to even be like a number one contender or even a number one prospect, or to be where they can order you, the sanctioning bodies can order you to have a fight with the champion, or just get a fight with the champion. As hard as that is, and as many years as that can take, and all the red tape and all the bureaucratic bullcrap that go with it, you think that there's a fighter out there that is willing to get in the ring with Tyson Fury and fight for no championship belt? This is the lie that Bob floats out there, seeing how y'all gonna receive it and is it gonna stick. This is what he do. He puts it out there. Everybody gravitate or they bypass it. They don't talk about it or whatever. See, I'm watching. I'm watching and I'm gonna keep watching, because those 3 or 4 things I just mentioned, how he get his license back. You can't just give it to him and don't say nothing. You gotta explain that shit. You know. How you skip past Dillian? You wasn't gonna let Ugas skip past and live his life. You know, it took the big fish to come in and he kind of saved Ugas. Not save him from getting beat, but like save him from doing what they want rather than what he want. He earned the right to go try to get a unification title and make more money in the process. WBA was trying to stranglehold him and make him fight people we ain't never really heard of. They be like, oh, Stanionis, he was in the amateurs or what. We don't care whether he was an Olympian or amateur. I don't know what he was, but who cares? We can only count about what he doing as a pro. But they was ready to him, the Latino guy, the Cuban. They was ready to him his ass up because he looked more like me. he don't look like a white guy. You know what I'm saying? He don't have the complexion for the protection. As far as they was concerned, he was a nigga. You know, he was a regular nigga. Sorry to say it like that, but that's how we be feeling over here. Because you make rules up for one people, set or group, and then it's different rules for another. People don't like unfairness. And as fans of any sport, you don't want to see it. It's not good for the sport neither, because especially if they have people betting on sports, it's really not good. You know, you losing money because your skin is black. Are you serious? I want my money. That's why, because in the end of the day, when you cheat and you cause favor to another fighter over another one because one is the color you need them to be skin wise, you stealing people's money. Do realize that. Yeah, I know Stanionis can't fight. Yeah, I know he tough, but he nobody. My head is itching, y'all. Nobody knew who he really was until they started doing this shit. He got to earn it like everybody else. We know who Boost is. Boost got to earn it like everybody else. And black folks supposed to just take it and like it. Exactly. Because there is an element in there. There's an elephant in the room when it comes to them making these type of decisions. Again, Tyson Fury is not my favorite fighter. I'm sure he's not you guys. Nobody is thinking about him that much. But when you look at the favor he gets, you have to. You have to engage. You have to think about it. And he holds the belt. And it's easy to dismiss the WBC belt. We could all feel like, fuck their belt. We can feel like that. But here's the thing. These people who are boxing, they have been doing this shit since they were children. You know how hard it is for a child at 8 to stay focused and hone their craft? And they've been doing this and doing this and doing this. You know what they missed that other kids their age got to do because they were honing their craft? And then now they're at the precipice of becoming great. And we're gonna say, because WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, aka Mr. Cantone from Holland Knights, because he cricket is a motherfucker, fuck the WBC belt. We can't do that. I can't in good conscience advise nobody to do that. I can say fuck the belt. I'm not in the ring. I'm not trying to gain the belt. I could never tell somebody who's been through all that stuff to be like, forget that belt. I can't do it. And I don't think that's something we should ever ask them, but we should pay attention to everything that goes down with those belts because there's some fugazi mess. So you will know how to call the shit out when it comes to you. To the fighters who ain't paying attention to what's going on with Tyson Fury, what happens when it comes to your doorstep? Are you prepared? To all the fans who ain't looking and paying attention, what happens when they go to the next person? Are we prepared to call it out? This is why I focus on it. I'm watching them because they too clever. You're right again. You know what I'm saying? So those three things. If he don't fight Dylan, we need to know why and how. If his next bout is not for the WBC, we need to flip the proverbial boxing table on his head and be like, bullshit a lotto. How do you get to do that? We should all be so lucky. That's what every fighter should say. We should all be so lucky. We should, because as far as I knew, it's on the table. And these dudes are quick to say that. Just drop the belt. Are they crazy? I can't say it. You know, I'm not knocking people. Like right now, I'm not gonna buy PBC until Earl and Bud meet up. I can't tell y'all what to do. That's just me. And I come to this decision not lightly for a combination of reasons. Once Tim Smith let me know the PBC was never interested and will never be interested in making a deal to fight Bud, I was done. So when people say it's just Bob because Bud is blaming Bob, first of all, you guys got to understand with lawsuits and how you take people to court, you have to have standing. There's no legal standing that Bud can have by including PBC or Earl Spence in his suit. None. The only person he could sue is Bob. And then you can't go to court on emotions. You have to have evidence. You have to have facts. You know, you just can't do it. But what Tim let us know is that it's not just Bob. It's a collective effort. What I threw in was if PBC is the entity you work with, talking about Earl Spence, if that is the entity that you work with, and I would love this answer, and I may never get it, and it's okay. So I have to go by what I assume, and it will be speculation and an assumption. So if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong. But did PBC let you know, talking about Earl Spence, that that's how they felt about Bob? And if they let you know so many years before, And all this back and forth was going back and forth, which we would say is unnecessary, right? That could be the conclusion. If they told you years ago how they felt and you knew it, and you could feel and I wouldn't blame Earl if he was like, "It ain't my business, I ain't getting into it." But they making you get into it. And I feel like PBC did Earl Spencer a disservice, because that's how it's looking to me. Like, how you work with these people are paying you. You ain't getting nowhere and making no fights without them. You need them like they need you, but they're not telling you how they feel about your biggest opponent. That's gonna be your biggest barn burner, your biggest fight. That fight is gonna make so much money, it's almost guaranteed. It could, in my mind, get 1 million or 2 million people. In my mind, I don't know. That's me speculating right there. That's a speculation. It's also a speculation that they would have told Spence how they feel about Bud. Because why would you let your prize fighter, and he is a prize fighter, why would you let him walk around chopping it up, going back and forth, having all these back and forth things, letting your fans, feel the way they feel, and his fans feeling the way they feel, and you in the dark? Why would you do that to your fighter? And it's possible that the PBC did just that. But when I say it's a collective effort, right now, I ain't exactly put it on this jacket on Earl. I'm saying collective with PBC. That is the business or the entity that Earl works with. So he by default is associated with them. But collective through PBC and Bob Arum, they screwed Bud over and had him looking like a fool in these streets. I'm just saying. So because PBC was into that, I'm not buying no more of their fights. Now I know what people gonna say. Why you not buying Bob's fights? Okay. Bob is who he is, always been who he is. I was never shocked about this lawsuit. We heard this from Mayweather back in the day, and I'm steadily looking for this video where Mayweather actually gave a number as to what he think Bob owes him, going way back to the Zab Judah fight and the fight before that. He actually said a number. I'm looking for that. If anybody know that video or how to find it, let me know. Y'all can email me boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. Email me that link. You said Earl is going to end up suing PBC. I believe he would. And if they lied to him, he need to. He should. Okay. Somebody telling me about the MMA fights. I'm gonna try to check. I'm gonna try to check them out. I hear you, Donnie. You said you got 3 fights for me to check out. Okay. Sensory said a $50 million fight, easy. I can see that. I can really see that. What y'all think in the chat? I know he said 11 million. I know it. I said that. I can't find it. What interview was that, Sensory? I've been looking for it all day. I saw that because he was, you know how Floyd talk. Me and Bob, I has a problem with Bob. He killing me the way he said. He said Bob still owe me upwards of like 11 million or something like that. What interview was that? Please let me know. I want to find that for so bad. I want to find that. Because it was years ago, you guys. It was years ago. And I'm gonna tell you, it's what made me think of Bob the way I think about when Bob was saying the derogatory things about Terrence Crawford. I told y'all a lot of times Terrence is a G. I'm just saying. And I'm not trying to put up everybody who's a Libra on the pedestal. Libras move differently. Some of y'all know Libras in your family. We move differently. I say we, yes, because a lot of people would think a Libra is dumb. They always do. Like, I don't know no Libra that don't go through this. but they'll think you dumb and they be like, why you doing that? Why you respond? They never understand why you do what you do. You totally get it. You'll do things where it look like you're dumb, but Libras to me are very good at knowing when to hold them. That is a talent we have because we'll hold that bitch. If it means our hands, our tongue, our mouth, whatever we gotta say, we gonna hold it until it gotta be released. And in the meantime and in between time, everybody gonna be looking at you like you crazy. You say, I know he said it. Let me, yep. I think he said it after a press conference. Yeah, but was it after the Cotto fight? It was before Pacquiao, after Zab Judah for sure, years after Zab Judah, but before Pacquiao, and I just don't know which one. Was it All Access? I'll find it and send it to you. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna be still looking too. Um, who knew that some of these old clips that these fighters make would come in handy years from now? Um, you know, um, I just want to put that out there, like what Floyd was saying. Um, and I had made mention of it, and I don't like to like speak out the side of my neck. So this is more so like me trying to make sure I was on point in what I said because I don't like to put bad information out there. And I say it, but I never had it with me because I know I visually and I heard it and I saw it. Say it out his own mouth. So it is more so to help me stay right and stay on target. Nobody was doubting me or anything like that, but I just want to make sure that I'm saying the right things. That's it. But I really want to find that because when I heard it, I was like, "What? You owe this man?" And I'm tripping because what 11 million to me, or maybe you in the chat, like what $11 million is to us. That's a lot. But I was like, "What?" And he chilling, he don't care. I was like, I don't care if I'm a millionaire 20 times over. Run me my 11. That's a lot of money. He could take that 11 million and that could be all the money he used to gamble that whole year, you know, instead of dipping in his pockets. But Floyd lives off of his dividends or the interest of his money, which is and look, he said that. He said, I get about 7 million. I don't know if it's in the same interview. He was like, I get about 7 million a month. A month. And that's just interest off of his money he has in the bank. God damn. You know what I'm saying? God damn. Cicely said, run me my 5. It's the principal. $5. Hell yeah. Quarter, 50 cent. Is bigger than just the actual dollar amount. And that's why I follow things that I follow fighters who especially catch favor and get to do what they want and don't follow the rules because yeah, we might not care about people like a Tyson Fury, and we all know that Canelo is Fugazi. We might not care that much about them, but they gonna have what they gonna have. They're gonna have the money or whatever. We have to follow them because what they're doing to whoever they're facing, even if we don't know that person or care, it's going to come on your doorstep and you're going to care. So, like, what be going on with Tyson and what be going on with Canelo and all this favor they catch, guess what? It befalls people like Devin Haney. Today, I read an article and they talked about Teofimo and they referred to him as the former undisputed champion at 135. When did that shit happen? Wait. I was like, what? And I have to call it out every time. Cause again, you'll get somebody new to boxing, and this is how they learning. It's kind of like I'm gonna say this. Some of y'all might not like me saying this. It's kind of like the world we live in now, with a lot of people being activists and anti-government and this, that, and the other. You be protesting, You be not wanting to vote. You be doing all that stuff, right? I normally would say all that good stuff, right? But all that stuff, and you really don't know how your government works. And you think you do, but you don't. And what have they done in the last 50 or so years to the school system? They find a way to cut the budget. I mean, all the stuff that they had that they provided in the school systems when I came up with, they don't have. I remember my daughter wanted to be a cheerleader. Them jokers told me $1,200. Not, and I was, God forgive me. God forgive me. I was praying she ain't make the team. Damn that shit. I was like, ain't no way in hell. But I was living on the edge because I played it. I played the game all the way up till they pick who they was gonna pick. I prayed to God that she didn't make it. I could tell her this now. I couldn't tell her that back then. I prayed to God she ain't make the team. And they was particular. Everybody get a participating trophy. We instead of teaching people how to lose gracefully, instead of teaching people that life don't mean you'll get everything you want, that you got to actually put in work. Sometimes you ain't gonna get favor, but it's okay. You don't know, sometimes, God could be guiding you, and whoever your God is, but that's how I talk. But God could be guiding you to something bigger and better. But it might seem devastated at the moment that you didn't get something. But instead of teaching people shit like that, or sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I've changed it to should never hurt you. We somehow another, all of that shit got lost. And then you get these crybaby ass motherfucking adults. And you see them in boxing. People don't know how to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? You got Rolly going through what he went through. I look, Rolly is a weasel. He's a jerk. But I don't wish what they did to him on him, because that's nothing to play with. You say you are very, very smart. Oh, thank you. What happened with Rolly? Let me tell you why that's bad. Because you might not like Rolly, and he might be a jerk. But if it happened to him, it could happen to your son. It could happen to your brother. It could happen to your daddy. It could happen to you. And it ain't gonna be funny then, is it? And not everybody, and you cannot predict this when it comes to that type of situation, can recoup from that. Because I can tell you and I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. If I had my daughter, well, she's grown now, but if she was a little girl, and we happened to be at a fight or anything, we would not be rolling up on Rolly. Can I get your autograph for what he could have been as good as Floyd Mayweather? We want no parts of him. He gets no play in my house because I can't let her think lovingly about a person like that. I can't. And you know what? It's unfair and it's wrong. But just the mere allegations, he is off limits to me. If I had granddaughter, I'd be like, don't come around my kids. You see how people can be? Now, I'm wrong for being like that if the person was never charged or was never found guilty of something. But I don't give a fuck about that, because you just never know. That's why you can't play with those type things. But it's hard defending Rolly, because look what he do. This is what I'm gonna go back to when I'm saying we don't teach our kids right, and then we got a bunch of athletes, there's a bunch of crybabies and fugazi ass motherfuckers, or they be breaking the rules. Because look at what he said about Bill Haney. I know Bill Haney could take care of himself, but you know what's the worst? That was the worst thing that Rolly ever said that I couldn't stand. It's one thing you could talk about Tank, you talk about Devin or whatever, but they always say leave the family out of it. So then I guess Rolly could come back and say, well, Bill is his manager, his trainer. He's kind of in the family. When he said that bullshit about, I was really Devin's daddy or some that highly disrespectful shit to Bill Haney, I was like, what? I almost fell off the floor. Fell off my bed. I was like, What? And he thought it was a joke. But Rolly don't think that. What if somebody said that about his daddy? Bill Haney got children his age. You where did we not learn respect? You don't give respect, and that's why you don't get respect. That's why they could do what they did to you, because they don't respect you. But somehow or another, in raising of these kids these days, we done all lost that. Tyson Fury is a gypsy. They just known for being fugazi and rope a doping people and being a charlatan and a grifter. That they known for that shit. You see him brag about it, but yet you ain't putting two and two together. Go read up gypsy history. Every major city probably know a group of gypsies. Just go to the movie theaters on a Friday or Saturday night. You'll be like, huh? Like a major movie theater or something. They slapped Rolly on the wrist and sent a message to everybody else. Yeah, we can't be behind that, because guess what? We gonna normalize that. People will be desensitized to that shit, and then when it happens to your son, what you gonna do? You hear what Bill Haney said? We don't fuck with people like that. And people can have that. I'm saying it in a sense too. The allegations was out. I don't know if you did or didn't. I'm not negating what the girls say, but Rolly is an American, so he deserved due process. He didn't get it. And so nah, I can't roll behind that. It can never be that. Cause just like I don't need the allegations to come at nobody that I love, or not even me, but I don't need for nobody I love and all that to not get due process neither. I don't want no parts of that. But somehow that was missed. You have to look at what they doing. This is too much corruption and fugaziness going on, and it starts with little shit like we gonna have a fight in the UK. Well, motherfucker, you don't have a license. Okay, that's what they want us to be as fans. Okay, instead of saying how, where did you say again, and when, who, what, when, where, and how. We're gonna have to start asking those questions, and they gotta be consistent across the board, or you have to throw the bullshit flag up, and you have to put the pressure on the people who's bringing that BS to the forefront. Bob is in a pickle right now. He's worried about his reputation. Reputation, that's all you have. You have your name, you have your reputation. He's worried about future business. Why should he care? He's 90 years old, right? But he has children, and his children has children. And maybe this is something he wants to leave behind. Mhm. It's a moneymaker. He was in his own little way running a slave type situation. But he's Jewish, so he gets a pass. This jacket that Bob got to wear is not for every individual Jew. If you doing what Bob doing, then you got to put this jacket on too. We just had the King holiday Monday. We celebrated it. I think his birthday was actually on the 15th, but we celebrated it this Monday. It was a yesterday or the day is Muhammad Ali's birthday, Mike Tyson's birthday. It's a lot of people's birthday. Roy Jones, I think. Happy birthday to all y'all. Some of the greatest that ever done it. Happy birthday to you guys. But it started back there with them. Look at what happened to Muhammad Ali. I don't know the history real deep, but wasn't Top Rank supposed to be something that was his? Then Top Rank gets its initial startup, because you're gonna have to have startup money when you start something. The startup money for Top Rank, wasn't that all Muhammad Ali? Don't it make sense more now that Rashida Ali came to Bob's defense? Don't it make sense more that somebody who don't even have a track record that you can shake a stick at, like her son, and I don't dislike him, Nico Ali Walsh. I think if he keep his head down and keep grinding, he will be something special. But today, no, he's not. He's not even a prospect. He's fighting 4 rounders. He's learning on the job. Kudos to him. So I'm not knocking him when I say this, but somebody like him can just walk in and get a contract with Top Rank. We're not gonna say why. What about the dude who been getting it since he was 5 and ain't got no money, no popularity, and nobody likes him? What about the people who went to I had a boxer on here that I interviewed who was who's trying to become a professional fighter. He's in his 30s. Well, he is a professional fighter, but he's trying to make his mark. Who's signing him? Who's quick to run and sign him? Nico Ali. Just like that. We don't care that your granddaddy was who he was. That's not you. Your granddaddy earned everything he got. You have to earn yours. Sensory Fury couldn't sell a fight in the UK if he tried, not without a black guy. I believe you. You got it. They robbed Ali. But if we was like, wait a minute, if we pick that to be an activist about or be mad about, maybe shit will be different right now. But no, we always have misdirected anger, want to point the finger at shit that don't matter and ain't gonna solve the problem. I always have this belief that man-made problems can be solved by man-made solutions. If we make the problem, we can fix it, in other words, right? Now, I do agree that there are outliers to that. For instance, if a man goes and kill another man, you cannot fix that. Yeah, there's consequences to that, but you can't fix it because death is final. So there are man-made problems that don't have a solution. But most, and I would give it like 90% or a little more than 90%, man-made problems can be fixed by man-made solutions. But we got to know what we looking at, what questions to ask, and to stop letting things go past. Now, my activist right now, my activism is going to be with the PBC right now. Guess what? Am I going to have a game? Yes. I spend close to $300 a month in boxing. I won't be doing that because I'm not buying no more PBC fights. I believe people like Barbershop Conversation when they said the PBC has money problems. I believe that. You know, you guys can jump in at any time because y'all know I get the rolling and shit. Y'all can add to it or whatever if you want to. Phone lines are open and the link is in the chat. And so the phone line is down the bottom 706-804-4449. That's 706-804-4449. Or y'all can jump in the chat or y'all can hit the link in the chat and beam in with me and chop it up. I believe, like I said, barbershop conversations and other entities when they said PBC has money problems. Because one thing he said, and you know what, I know somebody wrote something in there like I didn't get what they was trying to say, but they were saying something like "get from behind Fred" or something. I don't know. Let me tell you, me and Fred, we don't agree on every little thing, but most things we agree on. I think me and Fred don't agree when it comes to the conclusion of things, but how we got up to the middle part, we most I mostly be on board with what he say. I also listen to what he say and I sit back and watch. And Fred put out that PBC has money issues. And he said you will know because all of them will be doing pay-per-view fights. And I be damned, isn't that what just happened? Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz. That was a worthy pay-per-view. But he called it. He called it a while ago, like last summer or early fall. What's up, Michael McCoy? What's good with you?
What's happening? How you?
I'm good. I'm good. You want to add to it?
Well, I concur with everything you've been saying tonight. Actually,
Oh, okay. You want
everything because I think that we as black people we don't really see the big picture in boxing. Uh, what I mean by that is we don't well we do understand, but we don't want to be because you know you got a lot of people now. they're afraid to say the word racism. A lot of black people,
Mm-hmm.
because they done got them to buy into that. You're pulling the race card nonsense when the race card exists.
Mm-hmm.
We see, for instance, boxing is a sport, but it's more than a sport. To be the heavyweight champion of the world actually means more than what people think. Boxing, in the case of Terrence Crawford is being stalled not only by PBC, but by Top Rank. And I'm not saying Bob didn't get the Spence fight and all this type of thing. What I'm saying is Bob don't have the impetus to make a move like that because it's not really in the agenda. They don't want dudes like Bud, dark skinned black males, representing the championship ranks. All you gotta do is look at the last since 2010. You've been seeing a trend. It's not gonna stop unless we stop it. PBC
Mm-hmm.
is a part of that too. They playing ball in it. When they got rid of Floyd, they was happy. When they pushed Floyd out into retirement, he loud. But see, they don't want black males on top. That sends the wrong visual image. It's
Mm-hmm.
got to be certain types. They'll let certain types, like a Broner. Broner still got a career. Yeah, he got all these losses. And I'm not coming down on them. I'm simply saying they don't mind them types being in the game, representing the jury, the clown show. Floyd is one of them too. $20 million watches. They like that. Good
Mm-hmm.
family, black man, 7 children, raising them.
Mm-hmm.
A star in his hometown, a star in his home state, no scandals. They don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want that. That's why it's so hard for a brother like that.
What you think about? Like I've always thought about this, and I've thought about this as a youngster. I used to say, why is it that black men can achieve so much, like money and all kinds of things through sports or through entertainment or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like a guarantee, or it has to be this way that all of them have a jail story, all of them, but
As it
that's
relates to,
not the same
yeah,
white folks.
boxing and football, that's
Yeah.
a new thing in football
Mm-hmm.
because you have to have that asterisk by your name. It can't
Mm-hmm.
be I'm such and such and I'm the greatest. You can't be Bill Cosby and say, okay, I lived, I was a big time, I was the father of America. It's time for me to go ahead and relax and rest, and I'm gonna leave the business and die.
Mm-hmm.
No, it has to be an asterisk there. You can't be Barry Bonds and just hit the 70 home runs and that's it. No, it's got to be, well, he got 70 home runs, but there was accusations that he was on performance enhancing drugs. See, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. They don't
He
talk
was a
about it with
typical nigga.
Canelo, for instance.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
he was a typical nigga. That what they basically saying.
And you're not getting up there unless you fall into that paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact. You're not.
Mm-hmm.
They will allow certain black athletes to hit the apex. Not all of them. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much talent you got. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they won't exploit you and your
Mm-hmm.
talents. What I'm saying is you won't be visible.
They won't leave you alone with your money. Oh, you best believe you're gonna be paying somebody. Somebody gonna be benefiting off you.
A
And
whole
if
lot
you,
of somebody's. You're gonna
yeah,
send a whole lot of Jewish kids to college.
exactly. Exactly. And ain't nothing wrong with it. Like we just saying it is something wrong with it, but it's when it's not fair exchange. You know what I'm saying? If that Jewish person is working for you, let's see,
You
like
far
Mayweather, then hey, he working for you.
you far more forgiving and understanding than me, but that's the
Yeah.
qualities of a sister, and
That's,
that's
I
fine.
can't help it.
However, I'm a harsh, hardcore
Yeah.
dude, and I ain't letting them motherfuckers slide with nothing. We need to cut them off completely. Complete. If all the talent left sports in America, the industry would die. If all
Yeah.
the blacks left, see,
And you know
maybe
what
we
I say
need to
too?
kill it.
You know what I say too? This shit has an umbrella over it, a haze, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm the only one that feels it, but they are really trying to rewrite history. I say it a lot.
You got it.
People probably I get the feeling that people be like, "Oh, girl, whatever," but they are. I'm telling you, 100 years from now, all of us will be gone. And when they
Yep.
write them in the history books,
They'll be talking
they're
about
gonna be
Tyson
like
Fury.
Muhammad Ali was actually Mexican. Yeah, they're gonna say they're gonna go so far as to say Muhammad Ali was Mexican.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
I can see that.
or Muhammad
They do
Ali's
this because
record and his greatness will be attached and attributed to a Tyson Fury. They do it all the time.
mhm,
All you gotta do is read history. If we go back to history, these we talk about the people who really don't have a history. They've taken other people's history.
mhm, mhm,
This is the
hybridization.
fact. This ain't nothing. I'm not making this up.
Oh, yeah, and
I'm a
Mexicans
history
are what
buff.
is it? Black, Indian, and Spanish. That makes them Mexican.
And they really are just black. When
Mhm.
Columbus came here and arrived on these shores, he ain't seen nothing but a bunch of black people.
He
Then
saw
they
them all.
start mixing with them, and then you got these different types, these Castilians and so forth and so on. You got the Indians, the so-called Tejano Indians. They're
Mhm.
like the actual Indians. They grandparents and parents was black as me.
Yep, he saw Moss. That's why he didn't land in what we call America. He was
You're
all in
right.
Cuba and everything. DJ is in a building. He says, "Salute, Miss T. I sent you some MMA fights to check out. I got you. I got the homework assignment. I'm trying to get acclimated to MMA because boxing is getting on my goddamn nerves at this point. And yeah, I'm trying to look for something else to do, but I can't do a lot of gory. So DJ is gonna baby step me through learning the craft and the rules and regulations of MMA. And just by watching and stuff, I should pick up stuff. I'm hoping. And then I'll be like chopping it up with y'all big time. And I'm gonna dedicate a day during the week. DJ said Thursdays, if he got some time, y'all come in here and chop it up with the MMA. I'll sit back and I'll learn. Before you know it, I'm in the talk with y'all. That's how that's gonna go down. So yeah. But Michael, what you think about when I say it's important to follow what they're allowing Tyson Fury to do? Because I don't think much of him, but we gotta
Hey,
watch
if
what they
Tyson
do.
Fury was a black man in America, he would already be out of boxing. The PED scandals alone would have tore him up. He is in place because of the agenda in place in boxing. Al Heyman been talking about it for years. He did a whole article in Boxing Scene 2016 about how white fans are leaving boxing and going over to the UFC because they do not see white fighters. That alone is gonna win Bud his case as far as the racial bias.
Mhm,
The point I'm making is there's nothing you can do about it. We can complain all day. This is bigger than Bob Arum. It's bigger than me, you, Bud, all the black fighters. It's
mhm,
big. It's not entertainment. It's it's a statement to the world. You live in a global system of white supremacy, racism. They don't want black men anymore to be. When Jesse Owens beat the Nazis in 1936 in the 1936 Olympics,
mhm,
Jesse Owens came back to America, got a teaching job as a coach. The IRS came after Jesse Owens, destroyed his teaching career.
mhm.
Jesse Owens was reduced to racing horses.
Mhm.
This is what they
Yeah,
do for the
like
black
literally
fighter.
running against them. Yeah.
Yeah, literally
Mhm.
racing horses like he's an animal.
Yeah.
This is when Joe Louis was done and he beat Max Schmeling representing the Nazis and so forth and so on. He went throughout his little career, made all kind of money for them white folks, went broke because of the IRS. He went
Mhm.
to his friend Frank Sinatra, who's supposed to be his friend at the time. His millionaire friend got him a job at the casino being a greeter. You know how like you go to
Yeah.
Walmart and there's some little old person there greeting you? That's what Joe Louis' life ended at.
Celebrity on the scene. Yeah.
Well, not really that. If you were reduced to the point of being a doorman.
Mm.
We talking about Joe Louis.
What's his name? Ray Robinson?
Ray Robinson was the greatest fighter ever. You see, they don't really talk about him no more.
Mm-hmm. Well,
See that what I,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. What you feel about? We do have more power than we think. It's see. I'm a
we
black
have
woman,
all the power there is
unapologetic.
because
I don't want to go into let me dismantle other people. I don't need to do that. But I need us to recognize what we can do. We are the biggest consumers of this country every year. We contribute so much to the GDP. If we stop shopping, this
correct.
country will be in trouble.
But sister, let
So
me
for
ask you this:
anybody to
if if I stop giving you my dollars
mhm,
and funding your lifestyle,
mhm.
I'm not dismantling you.
Yeah. If you stop
See,
giving me money that
uh-huh.
fun that helps me live the lifestyle that
Yeah.
I if you are causing a negative effect or an adverse effect against me.
So
But
we want to dismantle them. We
what the
want to
best way
tear
to
them down.
but what the best way you do it is get to their pockets. But see,
That's right.
I'm not with tearing down just for the sake of being, let me just put my boot on y'all neck. I'm like, if you don't respect my black dollars, then I and my Floyd Mayweather voice says I has a problem with y'all.
I agree. However, see what you're doing is since you're a sister, and I get it, a black person, y'all love justice. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not
I'm a
saying being unjust. I'm saying simply realize the environment you in, see it for what it really is, and act accordingly. That's it. You don't appreciate me, you don't appreciate my humanity, then I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna disassociate. And I'm not talking no Nation of Islam nonsense. I'm saying
Mhm,
this is just common sense. I cannot associate with somebody that's oppressing me.
mhm,
Now I may be forced to buy food from you because I don't have the ability to produce the food myself. I may be forced to work at your jobs. Like, for instance, remember the bus boycott when they did the bus boycott in the South?
mhm.
Those people simply just didn't ride the bus. They went to their jobs.
Amazing, ain't it? Amazing. They don't make them like that no more. Let me get this chat right quick.
Yes,
DJ said,
ma'am.
"Well, hell, it ain't that many white champions in the MMA. They are all black, Mexican, Brazilian, African, and Russian." Well, I guess that's where everybody ran to, DJ. But yeah, that bus boycott, they walked. How many people
Yes.
can do that? First of all, you know what's the quickest way to kill you is to feed you bullshit. Feed you
Mhm.
mentally bullshit, feed you
You
physically
got
bullshit.
it. And that's
And
all we
that's
get.
what's been going on for the last 50, 40 years, y'all. So
But let me ask you this, sister. Imagine how bad the brothers and the sisters back in the 50s and the 60s must have been getting treated for them to take the actions they took for the civil rights movement. Black
I
people aren't really
whew,
like rabble rousers and we want to disrupt nothing. We just want to live. So imagine how bad they must have been getting
mhm.
treated.
Let me tell you something. This is why I be taking the positions that I do politically, and I be trying to work within the system, and not because it's the system we got, but it. And you might, some of y'all might be like, "Why you give props to some white folks?" Because I'm not a racist, and I don't care about none of that, because that gets my group of people nowhere. But, and I'm not saying you are, sir, but I'm saying that a lot of people can only focus on one group. I can focus on many groups. I did 20 years in the military, and I'm not sorry about it. And so I'm for virtually everybody, but I can't help nobody if I don't help myself and my group first, right?
Right. Right.
When you talk about what they had to do, I think about the black people and the white people, both the shit that they did in the 60s just so you can have an education, just so you can do what you want to do and go and do all the things you do that you take for granted. And when people say that's why it makes me angry when I hear about people who say, fuck it, don't vote. I can't stand that shit. I can't make nobody do now. I can only control me and my family and the influence I have on the people that I have. Outside of that,
Right.
I can't do nothing. But it balls me. It just it gets under my skin that people can be so callous that they'll say something like, I don't want to vote. You know how many people die for your ass? Where
That's a
they don't even
perspective.
got people like that that's willing to do that shit for you. Them people went into that shit knowing 9 times out of 10 they gonna die from this or be tortured. And then you 20, 30, 40 years later, I ain't voting. What the fuck? I can't.
You
I
you
can't.
you you a sister that participated in the system. You've been to the military and so forth and so on, and
Mm-hmm.
you've had a range of experiences while being alive in America.
Mm-hmm.
You know the difference between well-meaning,
Mm-hmm.
peace-loving white people and destructive ones. Same way with blacks or
Mm-hmm.
Mexicans or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that what we have to do is, despite that there exist well-meaning, peace-loving white people, what we have to do is address the injustices that go on while not hurting the well-meaning ones because that's not directed at them.
Mm-hmm.
Hit dogs, holler,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So, as it relates to boxing, we just got to start seeing it big picture wise as opposed to just as entertainment, because it's that, but it's more than that. That's all.
DJ in the chat, he been trying to tell us for months. DJ, haven't you been trying to tell us fuck boxing? DJ be talking about football and MMA. And, sometimes it takes some of us a little bit longer to get here. But, for
It's
me,
it's ever present. It's in every area of activity that we operate in. It's not different in football or MMA or nowhere else. It's the same. It just ain't came forward from that. I mean, we ain't heard the stories yet.
right.
This Bud Crawford thing might open the can of worms they can't close. They know this.
I hope, have
Why
you been
think Bob got
counting?
Bob got George, Ali
Mhm,
daughter, this one and that one, and
mhm,
Mosley and all these other people coming forward, all these so-called blacks coming forward. He's a great guy.
mhm.
As if that's to say he didn't racially bias them. They might not even be aware of it.
And Timothy Bradley, when you add, like, listen, I know
Yeah,
that's
Bradley. I'm
that's
sorry.
supposed to be your friend, but when they be calling you a coon or Mo
He can't
Biscuity
stand
and all
Bud.
that shit, when they be saying, oh, he don't like Bud.
He can't stand Bud. He had to get on ESPN and apologize to Bud in public about the Porter fight, talking about Porter and Bud couldn't sell nothing. Bud is loved in my city, and I live all the way in Detroit. We ain't got no connection to Omaha, Nebraska, other than Malcolm X.
It's Bud country over here too, but
Right.
like
Everybody love and know Bud Crawford.
yeah,
What is he talking
I
about?
met him twice, people. I met him twice. I know, like I go by my feelings too. Like sometimes just as a woman, I don't know about every woman, I ain't gonna speak for everyone. But most women that I do know and how I grew up, we're trained to recognize and be aware of your surroundings. So one thing, like I know I taught my daughter, go with your gut because it never really lies. And a lot of people dismiss certain eerie feelings that they got, this, that, and the other. So I say all that to
Hmm.
say, when I met Bud, let me tell you, guard way down. That dude is a family man. He's a
Right.
peaceful man. He's a pleasant man.
Right.
This,
Family all together.
yeah,
Mama and them
this
come to the fights.
negative narrative about him, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. And
It don't exist.
I'm
It
telling
don't
you, when
exist.
I met
The very
him,
brother we should be holding up as an example, they don't
mhm,
want us to hold up as an example. That's what I'm talking about. These
right.
narratives is not written by us now. Come on, we don't control the media. Oh, first it's like they keep saying, Bud uh needs to promote himself. What kind of nonsense is that? I seen a guy in plenty of pressers, and it seems like a great guy. What you want to do? Tap dance? All he got to do for
No,
me is go in there and be excellent.
he doesn't want to play the villain. Now he could have a choice. Like, they want the black people to always play villains, and when people need to understand, and that's why black people especially need to speak out. We come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, personalities, and character traits.
Yeah.
We do. Some of us are quiet, and white people too, and Asians too, and Latinos too. And I'm trying to cover everybody, Persians too.
When they
We
had Ali
all
playing the
come
victim, I
different
mean,
ways.
when they had Ali playing the villain, most of his early career, he played the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Ali said that's how he lost his first fight against Frazier because he lacked the humility that he had all those years prior to that. I think Bud is a historian, a boxing historian, and he understands that. That's why he tried to remain humble.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's a millionaire. He's the greatest. He's pound for pound, all that. He could be a jerk, and people would
He don't let it
understand.
get to his head. He don't let it get to his head. And
Right.
trust me, the way he grew up, it would not be a far stretch for him to be everything that we think typical black men be. But he doesn't fit the mold of typical thugged out, ignorant ass, whatever. I'm talking
And
the stereotypes, y'all. That they want to say that that's how black men are, and to see a black man is who is none of that. They're like, what? You know what I'm saying?
right.
And that's what they can't take about him. But he's a strategist, and I recognize it in him because I always keep saying he's a Libra. I'm a Libra. He is
When
a
I when I
motherfucking.
came across, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, sir.
When I came across your channel, that's what attracted me to the channel. The fact that you was able to peep out the the undercurrent, the strategic aspects, how our people always had to use their wits to get ahead. He
Mm-hmm.
just using his wits.
Oh my God, does he ever? You know what? He's a master at hold. You know that song? Know when to hold him, fold him, walk
Yeah,
away. Run.
right.
He's a master at know when to hold him, fold him,
Hmm.
and walk away. I ain't gonna say run. The nigga don't run from nobody, but he know
He,
how to
he
hold him and fold him and walk away. He
he
really
sure
did,
waited out that contract, didn't he?
didn't he? Yes. A lot of people say you should have did this. You should. I swear, I keep going back to this. That nigga act like a typical Libra. For those of you who got Libras in your family, watch how they move. Watch Bud, and then come back and say whether you agree or not. Because Bud, he gonna like when you sign a contract, that
Hmm.
that contract is binding. Everybody knows that.
Right,
You gonna ride it out till it's in, because it's always business as usual until it's not. So
right.
all the complaining, Libras don't do that. We ain't gonna cry about some shit every fucking day when we stuck in it. We gonna be boisterous beforehand and after, but during we calm as a bitch. I recognize that in Bud big time. He
Well,
calm.
the brother is a wise brother. He made a bag while he was doing it. He was able to take care of his family. He gonna move on to make even more money. To me, he did the right thing. At least now, can't nobody say, "Well, he breached the contract." That's all they want to say. They can't say it about him. They can't say he was a boring fighter. They can't say a lot of shit. So excuse my language, sister, but you
Are
know what
you
I'm
good?
saying.
I'm ex-Navy. I'm
They
ex-Navy.
can't say all
That.
the negatives that they would be able to say about, let's say, the negatives they said about Mikey Garcia. They can't say that about Bud.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're in a
Yeah.
pickle.
He has integrity. Believe me, he has something. And Bud has weighed out whether he'll ever get the fight again if they successfully blackballed him, whether things go well. He's looked at the worst case scenario in his head and said, "Fuck it," because
Let
it's
me
the
tell
right
you why they
thing to
won't
do.
be able to necessarily blackball Bud. They won't be able to blackball Bud because Bud got Daniel Kinahan and MTK behind him. He got a bag for real behind him. Bud is gonna start his own promotional company, just like Floyd and them, but except for Floyd and them is not really real a promotional company. Bud can start his own. He could go to Spence and say, "Spence, check this out. I'm gonna sign you for the fight. We're gonna give you $25 million."
Mm,
He
like
he's
that.
got the ability to be able to do that.
So I ain't
Now,
looked too much into
and Spence
MTK.
don't
They
be.
like that.
Oh yeah, look into MTK Global is
Okay.
Daniel Kinahan is the
Okay.
advisor for Bud. Now he's a,
Mm.
gangster over there, and they say over there in
Damn.
Brit in the UK. However, you heard of the company called Pro Bellum, right? Pro
Yeah,
Bellum Boxing,
they started back. They started this last year, right? Because
right? That
recent
was
protesters,
offshoot of Triller.
Triller kind of dropped the ball. Yeah, I mean, but
Pro Bellum come from that.
mm,
That's Kinahan and what's his name? Richard Schaefer, the guy who started
Yeah, there used
PBC.
to be a golden boy that did a hell of a fine job, and when he
There
left,
you go. That's all those
he
cats.
fell off. So yeah,
So
anything
that's
to
what
shape
Bud
you
got behind him,
definitely. Okay,
right? So
well,
I'm saying
yeah,
they don't be no blackball. That's why he was able to pull this movie pull. Why you think he sit up there so nonchalant and basically denounced Bob on the presser on the stage, then called Shaquille up there and passed him the torch?
he showed did.
Yeah, he
He
did that
showed
because he
did.
could.
Mhm.
Bob was
Yeah, no,
furious.
Bob was looking kind of crazy, but look, I had said right after the suit had dropped, I had said, "Watch Bob become Santa Claus." Look how
You
Bob
got it.
acting now. He campaigning for promoter of the year, ain't he? He
Well,
fighting
he
for
he, he don't have a choice. These kind of allegations, if they are substantiated, this is why I know it ain't gonna never really go to trial. They're gonna settle it as quick as they can. Would destroy Top Rank because Top Rank is not Top Rank by itself. Top Rank is ESPN. Top Rank is Disney. They can't afford to be attached to this.
Top Rank
See,
is the
one Bud, you said
CEO.
this yourself. You said when the subpoenas go down, this is why I said this is why I started watching you. I subscribed to your channel that day. You said when the subpoenas and the discovery and all that come out, that is a dangerous position to be put in for Bob Arum them. See, I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna find out when they do that, if it comes to it. They're gonna find out that them people, them pay-per-view numbers he said he lost money on, it's not
Mhm.
real. That's not true.
I would love to know that. This
Oh,
is okay.
we
So I
all
have
would.
to
That's
ask
what I'm
you
waiting on.
what?
That I'm waiting on them to disclose
Oh, the
disclose the
numbers.
real pay-per-view numbers.
L Dub is in the building. Was popping King. You know what I want? I want that shit to. I want it to go to trial. Now, Bud. Now we
Right.
talking
I do
about
too.
that. Bud asked for a trial date, which if judging Bud right, it's almost like he's like, nigga, I'm not trying to settle. I know
No,
I
no,
got
no.
a case.
He
I
don't
want
have to
to
settle
get out the world.
because the whole objective is to get the disclosure.
Mhm.
The jury is going the judge, it's not a summary trial, meaning the judge can say, okay, this is worthy of going forward in the court or not. It's
Mhm.
not that. He asked for a jury.
Yes,
The
he
jury
did.
is gonna hear the case. That's what I'm saying. Top Rank is gonna try to settle this. I'm telling you. They got to.
Super Bros X salute was popping King. But this is the thing. The only thing I'm saying about that, and I get that a lot of people think that my mother even believes that he's Bob is going to want to settle. I'm not negating that, but I think Bud wants the world to know because the world in his eyes, or few people in his eyes, got it twisted.
Yeah.
Because what did we learn just from the suit alone is that Bud was never ducking. That's one thing we learned.
Well,
Bob
which
is
I
going to
never
have
thought that
those.
anyway.
Bob is. I already felt that, but Bob is going to have those receipts where he did talk to PBC, and I swear for Claude, if PBC is living file, mm,
Bob, let me
mm,
say it like this. Bob has never made a formal written offer to PBC for Earl Spence. That's the way he got him at too. That's never occurred, and Bud knows that. You
mm,
remember that meeting they had in the backstage of that? What fight was that? Where him and Spence came face to face,
yeah, we was
and
playing it
Spence
on here the other day. Yeah,
said, he said, well, who Al said you're gonna fight? And he said I'm gonna fight Mikey, then I'm gonna fight this one, I'm gonna fight that one. You remember that?
yeah,
Yeah, he said he didn't mention Crawford, he didn't mention Bud Crawford. He said, nah, he didn't.
he
Right
did.
then and there, and I've been trying to hit people to that. I don't understand why they don't get it. Right then and there, Bob was exposed
Mm,
because Bob been telling Bud, that's right before the Kaviaskis fight, that
mm,
we have been in negotiations with PBC for the Spence fight. That's the lure they had. Bud want to be the greatest. He wants to be the guy that people talk about in the barbershops. He not. He want to be a champion,
mm,
two-time undisputed,
mm.
four-time champion in four different weight classes. That's what he's after. I don't blame him. I said, go ahead, brother. That makes sense. He already Hall of Fame, so he already in the history books. He's trying to go further.
You know what? In the end of the day, you know what I truly hope. I hope that it come down because this rivalry is crazy. Everybody picking sides. Feel like the Civil fucking War, brother
That's how
against
you know it's gonna be a big fight.
yeah. But I hope that Earl and Bud aren't casualties caught up in this whole thing. Right now, I don't feel that way. I've made a declarative statement, kind of siding with Bud, but I hope PBC was lying to Earl Spence, and if they were, I hope he stick it to their ass.
Honey, the minute they advised him to not take a $50 million to $100 million fight, you could actually take Spence, Earl Spence. He's a brother too. He could take them to court for negligence.
Mm.
They advising him. They have a fiduciary responsibility to his career. They
That
if they
word.
don't live up to what they're supposed to do, I told you, I'm telling you, Earl Spence is gonna end up suing PBC in the long run. You watch and see.
Oh, if they did him wrong, I hope he do.
They did him wrong
Mhm.
already. He should have been got this fight. He should. We shouldn't even be talking about this because this fight should have happened instead of Garcia.
Yeah, I hope it turned out like that. See, and that's the jacket I'm not putting on Earl just yet. I did say that I feel like Earl is ducking from just
He
the
is ducking.
combination
Been
of a
ducking for
lot
4 years.
of things. Yeah, but as far
But
as him
it's
being
not that.
malicious or something, nah, I don't
It's
know.
not that. It's we
Him.
know Earl is ducking, and we know he's been ducking for 4 years. It's not that he ducking. It's why is he ducking? He could be ducking because, like they say, well, the money ain't there. We know that's not true. So why are you ducking? I know why he's ducking. Why he's ducking. He's ducking because he done talked so much shit. He don't want to lose face by losing to Bud Crawford. He tried to sell the older Pacquiao for $5 million. Nobody want to talk about that. That his eye injury occurred because he was sparring a Pacquiao replica that was quick and got him. If you believe the eye injury exists. That just seems to be so obvious to me. But that part of what I just said is a matter of opinion, though. It's not like I know. I'm just simply saying, all we gotta do is look at the cookie crumbs.
Follow the crumbs. Follow
Yeah,
the
we see
money.
what's going on. And I'm saying the dude can't, we go back styles. He cannot compete with a Bud Crawford. If we talk about just styles alone.
No, I
He
agree.
won't win that fight. Now the question is I say good business is damn fuck it. All the greats done lost. He wouldn't be the first.
Anything can happen in a boxing match. So
Yeah.
he got that kind of chance. But as far and the only reason, y'all, that I've ever picked Bud, because I like them both at the same time when Bud was at 135 and Spence always, to my knowledge, been at 147. I understand that he
No,
fought
he
one
started at 154.
and came down, but he pretty
Right.
much lived in the
Right.
147.
Right.
Bud came up for 130, 135, 140, 147. So I always view Bud as a more complete fighter. You know who else I look at like that right now? Boots Ennis, but Boots ain't ready. I don't think Boots can beat Spence. I
If
don't think Boots
Boots
can
in this,
beat
I like Boots in this, but if Boots get in the ring with Stadionis will humiliate Boots in this.
exactly. Spence would too.
Spence will destroy Boots Ennis.
His career would be over.
And Crawford will hurt him so bad. Crawford will hurt him so bad till he might not have a career after that. He don't want no Crawford. He thought he could go after Spence. And I believe just was talking. But let's just say he really think he could take Spence. He only saying that because he think that the eye injury is real, and a lot of people that I know of and think Spence is damaged goods at this point. He
I
just
think
waiting to be
I
taken
think
out.
I think Spence should have waited a full year. But I kind of stopped saying it because I don't think people believe me.
Y'all love y'all some Spence, and ain't nothing wrong with it. But Spence has
I'm
very
telling you.
limited skills. He got skills, but
Mm-hmm.
he can't get in no ring with nobody on the level of a Crawford.
Yeah, he doesn't have like when you say complete fighter, like
Right.
I've never
He's not that.
fighter.
And he don't got that killer instinct that Crawford got.
Yeah, Crawford is mean when he get up in there.
Yes, he mean as hell. So
Yeah.
yes, and that goes a long way in a fight.
Mhm. But, all that to say, like, any injustice being done to Bud more than likely happened to Spence. I'm not
Happens
ruling
to
that
all
out.
of them, huh?
I'm
That's
not,
what I'm
yeah,
telling
to
you.
all of them. And guess what? I want Spence to get his just reward if they did some fugazi shit to him. And I only say
He'll
if,
get
'cause
it.
I don't know much about what's behind the scenes with him. But if after the Tim Smith, which did it for me,
Hmm.
Spence should have binoculars in his hand when he talking to the motherfucker, so he can see the hairs on the back of their neck. Cause
Let me
PVC,
share. This is
mm-mm,
where you. This is where the problem is. This is why the advising that PBC is doing is automatically negligent.
mm-hmm,
Anytime your advisor advises you to fight 4 fights that'll get you a total of, let's say, $15 million against 1 fight that'll get you a total of, let's say, 30, that's
mm,
automatic negligence. The danger, the risk is the same.
mm-hmm. Smash
But
the
I'd
like
rather
button,
take one
y'all.
chance than four.
Smash the like button, please. I keep forgetting to ask. The conversation good. I be like wrapped up in that. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already did so. But
You
yeah,
got a, you got a dope channel. You're gonna be all right.
thank you, thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying. I like a lot of people who know of me or whatever. Sometimes y'all I get deep with stuff, and I ain't gonna apologize, but I'm gonna just say bear with me because I was an analyst. You can't turn that shit off. I did that shit for 20 years, so you
Well,
can't
I
turn
like that
it
part
off.
of it. That's my point.
And there's a difference between an analyst and a debater.
Right.
Um, so even if I'm debating you, I'm with a calm voice and I'll just throw a question in or two and I'll be like, I'm not gonna argue back and forth. It's not to say I'm not human. I can't get passionate and get beside myself. I'm sure I can, but I will always come back and be like, I'm sorry, God, that ain't really me. But I'm an analyst and I'm telling you, when you do analytical things, you look at stuff leading up to an event, the
Yeah.
event happens, and then you look at stuff after the why? Because you do it for prosperity. That's
Yeah.
number one. Number two, you can figure out all the intricate details by focusing on the before and the after. And you can know the next move by focusing on the before and after. But
You
what
got
we
it.
do, especially as a group like black folks, well, I notice we do, we always look at the event and try to
Hmm.
extrapolate everything from the event when you should have been looking at what was going on before and after.
Right.
That's where you getting your answer, and then you can
Right.
say you can predict what the next move is, and people will be like, Miss T, I don't see it that way. Okay,
I don't
okay,
know how they can't
I'm
see it that way because that's the only way to analyze and actually predict the situation.
yeah, yo, I got paid for this for 20 years, y'all.
Right.
I got bonuses and everything because I had to know what the next move gonna be.
They
What he
used to call that mother wit back in the day when I was a youngster. They used to call it my
Mhm,
grandma and then would call it mother wit. And
mhm,
today they don't have none of that because everybody think everything is a matter of opinion as
mhm,
opposed to realizing that you have different levels of opinion. You got novice opinion, you got a
mhm,
considered opinion, then you got expert opinion. So everything don't fall into the realm of opinion because we have facts. But these
mhm.
people think everything is a matter of opinion
It's
without analyzing,
the
well,
whole
what
thing.
kind of opinion is it? If I'm an expert in boxing and I'm telling you what's gonna happen.
You have to ask the questions who, what, when, where, and how all the
Exactly.
for everything. And there's a couple of people out here that got channels. E Thriller comes to mind. I
Yeah,
want
I'm subscribed to him too. He cool.
yeah, he's a genius at it. And like
Yeah,
some people just have that natural talent and some people have to learn it. I think I
yeah,
got a little talent with it, but I also was formally trained. With him, that shit natural and you could tell.
yeah.
You
He
could
he he has a very concise, uh, probing channel. As far as he gets to the heart of the subject, and
mhm,
he got a personality that to go with it and everything. Me, I'm more of a person who like to get deep into a subject though.
mhm. Me too. I go too geek and be like, damn, how I got I'm
You
digging the
can't
hole. I'm
you
20
can't
feet.
you
Like,
can't
damn.
have too much understanding.
I'm like, look, well, I'm only supposed to stop at 6 feet in the hole, but I'm down here at 20. What the hell?
Hey,
Why am I down here? That's
right,
me. All
right.
a lot. But sometimes, you got to pull yourself back. And so believe me, when I be telling y'all these updates, it's important. It is important. Like the Tyson Fury thing, and no, we don't care for him. But what's about to happen with him, we got to look at that. We got to
He,
look at also the Devin Haney and George Cambosa. We have.
I believe, and this is a matter of opinion as it relates to Tyson Fury. Bob is just talking. Fury can't go over there and box no more. That drug scandal over there don't fly like it do over here.
Mm-hmm.
He just talking. Fury is not a big name over in the UK. Dylan White is the name over there. That's why Dylan White said, "Give me my money." Bob is undervaluing Dylan White's drawing power because they don't want to have the fight over there. They want the fight in the US. And they said, well, you sell big over in the UK, but if we had a fight in America, nobody know Dylan White. That's what tell you that it ain't happening over there.
We're gonna listen now. If it wind up doing being that they able to have that fight over there,
Mhm.
we got to look at it and follow the money. That's at that
You're
point we got
right.
to
You're
follow
right.
the money, and because that's the only way that could have happened. And let me ask you this, because I didn't see that you chimed in, and I asked this in the beginning of my show. Dillian White seems to have a point. I never heard of this route. DJ, chime in. L Dub, I know you should know. Super Bros X, one of y'all, anybody who know the answer to this. Apparently, if you have fought twice in a double like a title eliminator. So you're
Mhm.
fighting to be the mandatory or whatever. And you've done it twice
Right.
over time. Then you can the rules say you can get the 55-45 split. Because I was wondering where he come up with that number. But I don't know if that's true or not. That's something I read. I didn't read it in their rules. The
It's
W
not. It's not a rule. What he's saying is that's traditionally how it was done. When they first tried to get the fight with Fury, Bob them was not Bob, but Frank was offering him basically that.
Okay.
But
Because
the
I was wondering where
but
that
the
came.
guarantee was too small. The only
So
argument was about the guarantee. He
so
wanted
when you
10
say
million or
so
better.
when you say 55-45, that was normally what they did like
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then,
Well,
back in the day.
I
Or,
think it was more like 60-40, but okay.
mhm. Okay.
65-45 is what I think Fury them was initially asking for. But I don't think the deal point, that wasn't the sticking point of the deal arrangement.
Mhm.
The sticking point where what White was really beefing over was the fact that they only offered him 5 million as a guarantee up front.
What's wrong with that?
He gets that every time he go out anyway.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, that's how much I be watching people pockets because I be like,
I
five
do too, but I pay attention to the
million is
business part of it.
like,
But if he can draw 5 million by himself, if he can get a 5 million guarantee by himself, because that's how many people he's huge over there. He's just not
right.
huge over here. Now I'm saying Bob and them didn't want to give him the 10. That's been the whole problem. So is Hearn don't want to fight anyway.
Why he don't want the fight? Because
Because
Dillian
he
is
wants the Anthony Joshua Dylan White fight.
right, but he wants if Dillian can get that damn WBC belt,
He gonna
that
get it once
yeah, he gonna get
Fury
it.
gonna be forced to drop the belt. He's
And
gonna get it.
If Fury drops it, then Dillian got to fight Deontay, and I don't see him beating Deontay.
Deontay Wilder ain't coming back.
Y'all, you don't think so?
Deontay Wilder is Deontay Wilder is a shot fighter now. I'm not saying that to insult the brother. I'm simply saying Deontay Wilder is not coming back.
Mm,
Deontay Wilder, you can look at his fighting he did against Fury and see he shot. He's not. Look, judge the fights he had prior to Fury.
mhm.
He didn't fight nowhere near with the same ferocity or nothing else. I actually was mad at him.
Just before you say anything, this is Deontay Wilder's country. Stay away from the wine bottles.
I get you. I
um,
get you. I'm just
but
simply saying.
I feel you. I feel you. I mean, it's all good. That's my boy right there. But so you think? Do you think it was his trainer that? Do you think it was a good move
You
for him?
don't even want to know what I really think. I'll
Go
just
ahead.
say it like this.
Look, I'm gonna sit back and listen. I'm gonna go
You,
ahead and
I'm telling you, if
that
I
baby.
see what I said, people gonna think I'm crazy. But I'll just say this:
Go ahead.
I believe that Deontay Wilder was told some shit because they wanted to make a trilogy of fights. He was told something. It didn't go the way that they had told him the plan was gonna go. He got humiliated because of this other thing I've been talking about, and that really damaged him. He suffered an injury. For instance, give you an example. Have you watched Adrian Broner fight?
Yeah, I used to be. I'm still a fan of Broner, but
Right.
he disappoints me.
Do you know? Can you tell the difference between Adrian Broner pre Maidana versus post Maidana?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. See, and that's why I said I'm not blaming him. I'm saying you can suffer an injury that's so painful that it kind of changes you.
You want to hear my speculation on that? And kind of what you're
Yeah.
saying. The difference is I go back to this, and I know y'all like shut up with the Libra shit. Deontay Wilder is a Libra. He acts like a typical Libra too.
Hmm.
Deontay Wilder is probably suffering more than we know when it
Yeah.
comes to the unfairness that happened to him. He won that first fight. I don't give a fuck what nobody
He
say.
did. He
He won
did.
that third fight. I don't give a fuck what nobody say because if you'd have counted like you supposed to, he would have knocked it. It would have been a knockout for him. But
He
when you
won.
in the face of millions on TV, blatantly stealing some shit from them, and nobody can correct it, I
Right.
wouldn't give a fuck about boxing either.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about a man with all kinds of pride,
Right.
and I mean it's a lot going to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know. I hope he will come back. I know he's nursing a wound. He I think the earliest he can come back is April, May, because he broke his
did he
hand in that
already
fight.
announce his retirement?
No, he didn't really do that.
Oh
I can't remember the hoopla about it, but it was some bullshit. He didn't really
no,
do that. But we if he don't, guess what? And see, I even though I would love to see him do what he gonna do, I'm
look,
happy that his life turned out the way it did.
that I get you. That was standing. Hearn and all of them, they're not planning for a Wilder return. They want Dylan White versus Anthony Joshua in the UK. That's a mega fight over there.
That would be. And guess what? We keep letting these people take these belts out the country. You ain't gonna never see them. They holding them bitches hostage. Georgetown
You right.
Peoples will love to keep that belt over there in Australia. But the problem with him and his division is no matter who he fight, he's food for them. No, you name them. You
That's
name them.
you
They
got it. That's where the agenda part come in. That's
Mhm.
why they don't want Devin to get it. Devin should have been had it. He
Been
should
had.
have got the Lomachenko fight. He didn't get it
Been
because of
had.
that bullshit.
Exactly. And see, and look, we're gonna flip the proverbial boxing table over if
Hmm.
Cambosos come with the rah-rah, talk about some he fighting Lomachenko. Bullshit a lot though.
Well, that's what they
Next
trying to make.
fight is motherfucking Devin Haney.
That's what they trying to make happen. They trying to rob Devin of his shot. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I hope it don't happen, but I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
For
to start
one, I don't
watching.
have nothing against Bill Haney, but Bill Haney too polite and too cordial and too soft for me, and I understand why because he got to do business. But it comes a time when you got to say, "Hey, I'm finna rock the boat. Give me
I
what I
think
want."
Bill got it. I think Bill got it in him. He's another one who's good at knowing when to hold him and fold him. Bill know when
I
to hold
agree.
him and fold him. Cause when he want to
I ain't
get jiggy
against them.
with it, when he want to get jiggy, Bill don't
He,
have no hesitation.
well,
I,
he a Oakland brother, so we know he ain't no sucker. I'm saying
No, that's
that
Big Daddy right there.
I'm saying that once you get into bed with these people and they got you where you can't say this or that without repercussion, you tend to be more I don't know, forgiving than I would
Mhm.
be.
You're more optimistic and
He know better than that.
he gotta be. But listen, you gotta be a diplomat.
He
Maybe,
do.
maybe it's like diplomatic. When you're dealing with precarious situations, you got to be more diplomatic in your approach
You
because
do.
know you don't know from culture to culture what can set people off. If people already have fear, because I don't know if George Campos, I don't know if I want to all the way say he's scared, but he got to have some fear brewing up in him because I ain't never seen such a quick turnaround on people's
Please.
feelings for going for that belt.
They
And
gave him that undisputed designation,
and
and
they gave it to George.
it's
Man,
because of the agenda. And George Cambosos is doing nothing but going along with that
yeah,
agenda. It ain't got nothing to do with he's scared of none of that.
that's
Cause
I read about T.O. today. They mentioned him as the former undisputed. And I was like, you
they
got to
got to
stop with that
now,
disrespect. Yeah, because then that legitimized George
right?
being
But
undisputed because
when Tio had that belt around his waist, had those belts, when he standing up there with Canelo, they
yeah,
made a point of pointing out that Canelo was the only undisputed champion standing there.
right. But see, T.O. became the nigga
There
once
you go.
Canelo
That's my point.
Canelo got
That's
the
true.
undisputed.
And let me ask you this, sis. When
Yeah.
at what point did he really become the nigga?
He always was the nigga, but he was better than he had the complex. He was a light skinned nigga.
True, but
But
it's a
and
point
then
where he became the official nigga, and no, and
when
that's
he
when he went to Thriller
when
against Bob.
Canelo when Canelo became undisputed is exactly when he became officially the Negro.
No, hun. When T.O. went to Thriller on that purse bid and went against Bob, that's when he became the nigga.
Oh yeah, to Bob.
To
He was always
everybody
the nigga
that's
to
to
Bob.
everybody that's up that's in that industry that's white, that's know what I'm talking about,
Mhm.
and ain't blind. They knew he was out of there anyway. Why do you think his daddy said we should have stayed with top rank Matchroom robbed us?
You know, yeah, but you know where they fucked up, I think? One, it's not I'm not altogether sure that he had COVID. I'm not. And I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just not altogether sure that he
Mm-hmm.
had it. He never showed proof or whatever. And
Yeah.
they should if they're gonna use it as an excuse. But when he had that date in June 19th, do you know I wouldn't have give a care if one person was sitting in the audience the way his contract was written, Triller or however you say that name, they
Mm-hmm.
had to pay him anyway.
Right.
That would have been a big ass check.
Well,
Book.
he got paid. They lost the fight.
Yeah,
Then
I
that's
mean
how Matchroom picked it up.
they lost
Right.
the bid, so they didn't get it what Triller was bidding, which
No, no,
Triller had
no.
a higher
What?
bid.
No, no, no. They had to pay him a guaranteed Triller. When Triller ended up backing out because they didn't have the money,
Mhm.
Matchroom picked the fight up and he made some more money.
They had to get like a little stipend, but the rest of the shit went in escrow. But that's what I'm
Well,
saying. And then George Cambosa was complaining when Triller kept moving the dates to October 4th, October 5th.
right.
And then he was like, yo, you ain't even put the money in escrow. So you ain't guaranteeing me shit. I'm done with him. But T.O. and George Cambosos, even to this day, have a right to take Triller to court and sue them for the whole purse. They
They
do.
do.
Mhm.
They do.
Yeah,
They
so
do.
please no, they do. But it look kind of silly if they did. Because
Right.
then you're gonna make other promoters hesitant about getting with you and all that. And unless you know how to put on the fight from start to finish by yourself, you don't want to piss off everybody else because they're gonna look at it like you did that to them, you're gonna do it to me.
T.O. is about to become a gatekeeper fighter going
Mhm.
forward. He's his for all intents and purposes. He about to be the new Sean Porter.
Really? At 140. Well, you know he's going to 140. His
No matter
next
where.
his I had some info on that. His next opponent, he's outgrown the weight. Some guy I had it written down. Hold on, let me see. Maybe it's on the other page. But I know He wants Josh Taylor, but he's not. Arnold Barboso. That's who he's gonna be fighting.
Right.
And
And do
is
not be
Ryan
surprised if an upset occurs.
Madison. I hope not. Now listen, I was a T.O. fan. I didn't like some of his antics, but I was a fan.
Hmm.
I mean,
Right.
because I feel
He
like he is a good boxer.
he's not excellent enough for me to be a fan, but I could see where he could do his thing. But I thought a lot of fighters could have beat Devin would have had a better performance against Lomachenko than he did.
Yeah, well, Tio took his time. Lomachenko is smoking mirrors. He
Yeah, he
just
is.
y'all. He listen. Go do Dancing with the Stars. Look what Floyd did. He did Dancing with the Stars, and he went in for a Kodo, right?
Mhm. Right.
Hey, dancing helps you get that foot
Yeah,
move
but
out.
Floyd is a whole different level of animal. He's a
Yeah,
master boxer. Ain't
yeah.
many people can say that. I
He's
don't care
definitely.
how good they are. Crawford ain't even a master yet.
Mm-mm.
He on his way, but he ain't a master yet. He get hit a little bit too much to be a master.
Believe it or not, I got Floyd as the best ever.
He
Over,
is
over Ray Robinson and all that. And I know
not
I
over Ray Robinson.
I never was back there, but that's my opinion. That's my
This
opinion.
dude fought like 174 professional fights,
Yeah, but I mean, when I'm saying best ever, he really is the best ever in
in the
everything
modern era. I agree.
to deal with his career. And granted, y'all, I know Ray Robinson is an icon, and I've seen only a couple of his fights because they don't have a lot of them
Right.
on wax. But and maybe I'm saying it because it's my generation.
You're right. Because you got to be talking about era because this dude had damn near 200 professional fights without a loss.
He had a lot.
He was a tough motherfucker.
And
So,
even when they talk about how he got into it, kind of like by accident.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was what?
I'm going to appreciate him because I'm a Detroit dude. So
I,
I'm going to always say he had that Ray Robinson. So.
I know two of my best friends from Detroit.
Oh,
Look, I like y'all boxer out of there that beat Charlo once. That dude talk more shit.
yo,
Um,
oh, Harrison.
Harrison.
Yeah.
Sometimes the shit that he would say out his mouth used to make me cringe. Be like, ooh.
I
I'm like,
believe that he could have won that second Charlo fight if they hadn't stopped it.
he couldn't take the power, man. He's a great boxer, but he has no power compared to Charlo.
Well, let me say it like this.
Hmm.
I think he could have withstood that little barrage that Charlo was putting on him if the ref had to set his ass down somewhere.
I don't.
However, if he'd have withstood that, he'd have kicked Charlo out. He would have won on decision. He's not a more explosive boxer than Charlo or something like that. He's not that. But I think that he got more heart and character.
He definitely, well, he knows how to carry. Ooh, that's hard. He has a mouth that makes women cringe, and he don't have to change for us. He don't because I'm a sailor. I did 20 years in the military. I've worked with none but men, and guess what? Cursing is not a big deal to me. But some shit that men say, I'd be like, okay, I'm going over here where the ladies at.
Because
This is not.
you hear the intent behind it, the virile behind it.
No, he just say shit like when men throw in their private parts, and I mean, I don't know, it's just some things men can say that can be like a repellent. Not that it's not good for y'all, it just probably wouldn't be good
I
for
don't
me.
know
But there's
because
things that I can talk about that you would be like, I'm out of here.
you get too reckless with your mouth in Detroit, you'll get killed.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm.
that's what dudes get killed about.
You
That
know
and
any,
female.
you know any singletons in Detroit?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Singletons. I know some dude named Singleton. But that was years ago. That was in school.
What about Smith?
That's such a common name. I don't think
Mhm.
so though.
Yeah, I got a couple of friends that's from Detroit. They seem like they know everybody there.
You say you a Georgia person, right?
Yeah, I live in Georgia, but I'm not from Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Virginia.
Well, I mean, you live. It's a lot of Detroiters in Georgia.
Really? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Atlanta full of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Atlanta, probably kind of like a new version of Detroit anyway.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I was down there. You know, they used to have what they call the Freaknik. That's how Detroit is. You had a great exodus from Detroit in '84 of black people leaving Detroit and moving to Atlanta.
Well, hey, speaking of Detroit, and I mean this is in the same state, right? Flint.
Mm.
You talking about
Yeah,
Michigan, right? Okay.
right. Flint is about 2 hours away from Detroit.
Have they fixed that motherfucking problem?
No, they have
Why
not.
not?
Racism.
What happened to the governor? Because he was on trial.
No, he skated out from under that.
How the
And
fuck
I think they still got some litigation going on, but it ain't nothing talking about criminal. And
did y'all get
uh
rid of the managers, the emergency manager and
yeah,
shit?
see that's gone. They
You
already
should
done
have went
stole
to jail
everything.
for doing that shit. The
Yeah, no.
suspended
But
fucking
they said it took them 43 years to set that up. See, when we had a good mayor, we had Comey Young was our mayor.
hmm
That couldn't go down. He was our mayor for 20 years. And when Comey Young died, he left office and died without leaving a protege. That's
and you
when they
had
came in
that
with all that.
criminal
Right.
black dude. What was the black dude mayor that y'all had? He tried
Comey
to
Young.
run. No, no, no,
Oh,
no.
you
It was,
talking about the young dude?
what I guess in Flint or something. I don't know. He was real
Uh,
corrupt.
no, Flint. No, Detroit ain't corrupt. Flint is a little small plant town. Used to
Mm.
be plant town. GM. See, this is why they won't. This they want to cover up Flint because GM would take the bite. GM was like the owners of Flint. That was a big plant town.
Mm.
General Motors ran it, and the poison water basically come from them and their operations.
But didn't okay? So this is what they tell the country. What happened was they changed the piping or where they route the water or
Hmm.
switch the pipes over. They were getting their water from the same place Detroit was getting their water. Talking about Flint.
No, no, no,
And
no,
change it to something else or
no. They got a river that we
mhm,
got a river and they got a river out there.
mhm.
They did their water service tapping into the river without doing a geological survey and without doing a EPA test. And
But
what
what
they
they
do
getting
is,
their water from y'all first, right?
nah, they will never get no water from us.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt, but go ahead. They didn't do the geological.
Detroit got one of the best water filtration
I
purification
heard.
systems in the world.
I heard. But see, when you have piping and all that.
Yeah,
And then we don't update the infrastructure while y'all all running to Republicans and saying, "Oh, we like deregulations." Well, they don't update shit, and you got old piping that was painted with old lead paint and
that's
all all that settlement. So when they switch the piping, because once the water stopped, the settlements in there is in there is now.
mhm.
When you pump the water back through, it's spread it around. It's kind of like your gas tank. When you
I
got
get.
sediments in your
I'm
gas
a.
tank, go to the
I'm a.
bottom.
Well, I'm retired now. I was a master plumber for like 30 years.
There you go. Yeah, speak to it.
Now, what happened is it's not an issue of piping.
Okay,
They
that's
they
what they.
use a water source, a contaminated water source, as the water source to feed the piping system for Flint. So the
Mm,
water that they was originally getting out of the river was contaminated.
mm,
If the water is contaminated, all the piping is contaminated. That's why they was talking about changing all the pipes. Because you
okay.
got what they call drainage systems that drain water away from your house and your property. Then you have what they call potable water systems. That's your water service that's drinkable water, that's treated.
Mm-hmm.
They sucked up water from a source that was contaminated without properly treating it. And that's where the problem with Flint come in
So what they got to do to fix it?
at. Create a whole entire new water source, which they're not going to be able to do. They want to run them people out of Flint and make
Gentrification.
it uninhabitable, and then put some kind of industrial thing there. They probably what they
Gentrification.
do now in Michigan is do what they call watersheds,
Mm-hmm.
where they let an area just go back to nature.
Mm.
That's what they're gonna do with Flint eventually. But they got so many poor people there, and they got so many white people, poor whites there too. They just can't flat out displace them like that. It's gonna take 10 years or 20 years or whatever it takes.
What about like a lot? And this go on around in the country a lot. Y'all have a place called Arbors something. You know what I'm talking
Ann
about?
Arbor.
Ann Arbor, okay. Now, traditionally, a lot of black people was there, and from what I understand, I could be wrong. You got places in this country that they have relegated black people to go to for years and years and years ago, which is supposed to probably been the bottom of the barrel type location. But
Hmm.
black people, when we get somewhere, we make it do what it do.
Right.
Now they coming back and they wanting that shit because everywhere that governor placed an emergency manager, it seemed like he wanted to infiltrate those areas. He did it by suspending democracy, and I don't even know how he got away with that shit.
Because it's been in the works for 50 years.
Mm.
They do what they want to do.
Kind of
And they
like,
act like they trying to follow a law or create a equality or justice or whatever. But ultimately, it boils down to they do what they want to do.
what they did in New Orleans.
Well, yes. And what you was just talking about, Detroit has been gentrified. I went to downtown,
Hmm.
and I've been going downtown my whole life. I went downtown 2 years ago. I hadn't been down there in a minute, and Joe Varvatos store was there. So I go into the Joe Varvatos store. I'm looking around. It's a nice store and everything. They got $12,000 blue jeans in there.
Damn.
Bottle of cologne costs like $700-800 for an ounce of cologne. Now, this Detroit niggas get fresh here, but $12,000 for a pair of blue jeans. No.
But the drugs in the '90s and the '80s, they kind of took y'all down too. Them boys that came up from the South.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
did. But that's true. People like to go into that, and that's true. But here's the beauty of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
It's ghetto as hell. However, Detroit is unique in the United States. Only in one thing: black people run Detroit. It's so
Mm-hmm.
many of us here. They can't never do nothing to gentrify us, get rid of us. This ain't gonna happen.
You know what I would do? You know what I would do? Because Amazon don't give a fuck about none of that shit them politicians talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to put stores up, because that's one, the easiest way to downgrade a neighborhood is to not have businesses in that neighborhood. That's how you downgrade a neighborhood, and it's been done on purpose since hell World War II. This is
Yeah.
why black people in America be experiencing that ghetto life. So whenever you live near like a lot of prominent businesses, something as simple as your Kroger's, damn, don't put a Starbucks. You doing good if you
Right.
have it in an area of where you live where you could walk to, or if it's a 3-minute drive, 5-minute drive in your car. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what you were saying, they got stores, they got $12,000 jeans. So you know what? Detroit and any other black community, start ordering your shit on Amazon. Get your groceries, get your foods while they trying to gentrify some shit. Because that's what
Yeah.
they do. They're gonna raise the price on everything simple that's gonna make you say, God damn, a bar of soap is $20. I got to go. And so you know
Well,
what you do? Just order your shit.
here's the problem with that. Black people from Detroit will go somewhere like, say, they'll go down to Houston, Texas.
Okay.
First thing they see is, damn, black people don't run shit here. Pew, right back to Detroit.
You said we can't have that. They rather fuck with the devil they know than the one they don't know. So,
Right. Right.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But I would say that's a strategy too for black folks. Start ordering your shit. People get whole fucking weekly meals through the mail.
I exclusively order through Instacart,
Mhm,
Amazon, Walmart. I
mhm.
don't go stand in no lines. I don't let him deliver it.
Exactly. Get you buy your stuff in bulk. It's something to be said
Hmm.
about buying in bulk. Like, like you said, Instacart, Amazon, whatever. If you know
Right.
soap. You know how much soap your family run through in a month. Order
Yeah.
that shit. You probably spent. I mean, I swear, you get a $60 package a week. Hell, that's what, like 120 to 240 a
Hmm.
month. You was gonna spend that shit anyway.
That's true. Especially
Everything you needed.
when you living like how I do, when all the kids is grown and gone, it's just me and the wife. I don't have to worry about that. I got ample supply of everything. So
I I hear you. I hear you.
I
That's
don't
gonna
have to,
be me in a
you know,
minute.
you know.
That's gonna be me with it just me.
Hmm.
$60 a week grocery bill. I
Yeah,
can wait.
right. And
Or that.
they come through and go and take your stuff anyway. So it ain't
Yeah,
like nothing going to waste.
that too. That too. I need to wash my clothes or whatever. Can you pay
Right.
my car insurance, boy?
That kind of thing.
My car insurance is like $40 a month.
Let's
Your
see,
motherfucking
y'all doing
car
good
insurance
down there.
is like 260.
You see,
So
I know
I'm
that's right.
yeah, 300. I'm like, God damn. But
I'm
that's what happens when you're young.
I ain't gonna hold you up from everybody else, but
Oh, you good? You good? We at the end of the show. I'm glad you popped in. I
well,
like I like how you get there and you seem like you like history. I'm a history major, so I love history. We
oh
can
well,
talk.
that's I'm a history buff. I love history. You
Oh,
can't
really?
know nothing if you don't know history.
Hey, listen. It's just one of the things that just did. I did it anyway without prompting. So I was like, it was only natural for me to get a degree in that in politics. I mean, because these are things I do naturally. But I'm all around. I worked in a different field, in a science field, when I was in the Navy, and so I did my 20 years there. So I'm all around with some stuff. And if you want to come in, any of y'all, I welcome any of you guys. Y'all want to come in, talk about something relevant, not no hatery shit. I don't do too good with just being combative all the time, but just good conversation because he could teach me. So look, I'm sitting up here thinking they switched the pipes. That man right there in Michigan. I'm thinking their governor went on trial because I saw his ass humming. You telling
Hmm.
me he got up out of that?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody did shit, and that's instead of me worrying about 40 acres and a mule. How about fix this motherfucking pipeline?
Hmm. Right.
Misdirected anger. That's what
they
I mean.
gon' they gonna run they plan. See, that's the thing about white people. You gotta give them credit. They plan in 100-year increments.
Hmm.
We plan in today and tomorrow. What we gonna do? How we gonna pay
As
Peter?
far as next week.
Yeah, all that shit. They don't do that. They plan shit 100 years down the road, and all of a sudden it happened, and people think it's a big surprise when all you had to do was go watch this congressional hearing that happened on the
Hmm.
8th of the 79, and they told you what they was gonna do.
To your face, they be blatant. Like my mama friend used to say, and I don't mean no harm or disrespectful, but it's funny. She used to be like, they always think it.
Hmm. Yeah,
I was
I
like,
mean, it's
okay,
just what it is. Everybody got their gifts and talents. We got ours. They got theirs.
yeah,
So, they
yeah,
need to use theirs to do some damn good as opposed to all this evil they doing. But that's just my opinion.
well, it's a whole new crop of people these days, black, white, yellow, and purple. We all different. We are not our ancestors. And whatever the glory y'all thought was back in the day, ain't nobody going back to that shit. So we all need to learn how to put our ear together and stomp collectively. But anywho,
Yeah.
thank y'all for joining the broadcast. Thank you, Michael McCoy. Do come
Thank you.
in. I enjoyed talking to you. I
Oh,
hope.
I listen to you quite often when I get a chance. I've been checking you out. You got a great channel, like I said. You should have way more subscribers than you got, and you will get them. And
I will. I will. You know what? Listen, I see. I'm so weird. I will do a show a week on Star Trek.
mhm,
Anybody into Star Trek in here?
I am.
Whoa! Look at that.
Well, you can't be a history buff and not a nerd at the same time. It's not possible.
God, the biggest nerd. And guess what? I don't know if you watching on I watch it on Paramount. Star Trek got a
You
new
talking
episode.
about the new one, Discovery? My
Discovery. You
wife
like
watched
it?
that. I ain't seen the
What?
episode yet. I'm still
Oh my
off
god.
into Deep Space Nine.
You still stuck on that?
Still stuck on that.
Man, Cisco was cool, but it Yeah, it was kind of boring to me. A little bit. D
Oh,
Straight
that brother was the most ruthless captain they ever had.
It was
That brother was
good,
something
man.
else.
My Of course everybody fave gonna be Captain, the original.
Yeah,
But
Captain Kirk and Picard. I like all of them.
this new one, Discovery, at first it started off a little slow, but Commander Burnham, Michael Burnham, that shit
Hmm.
is bomb.com. But I liked it Voyager too. And
Yeah, Voyager was a good show.
hell to the gas.
I'm gonna watch the Discovery. I got Paramount Plus. I'm gonna watch it one of these days. I've been so busy. I do films now, and so I be writing and trying to promote what I'm doing and trying to do that. So I've been caught up in that more. So I don't watch a lot of TV no more. But
Me either.
I do know about it.
Hey, we got to start a Star Trek club then. We
That'd
got
be
to.
cool. I'll
I
be
be
down
looking
for it.
for them, like on, who does a show like this for Star Trek fans.
Shit, that's a great idea. You have a trillion subscribers. Look at all the Star Wars
Really.
channels. They full of people because people love that shit.
I'm telling you, yeah. As y'all probably in the chat, some of y'all probably like, well, she lost me right there. I'm telling y'all, I don't know what y'all talk about. Because even like with Voyager, what I try to tell people, you got to be a real scientist to write for Star Trek, number one.
Yeah, you do. You got to understand science. That's true.
They don't, everything in the show could be true or is true. There's nothing in there like Voyager, right? And
Yeah,
if you think about the first Star Trek movie, the motion picture, that was
right.
about the probe, the Voyager. United States actually did that shit.
Right, they did. That's a real
It did.
thing.
Yeah, and there is a such thing as folded space. So you could go through a wormhole and get flung into the Delta Quadrant. Now we don't know if it's a such thing as Borgs, but
Well, you talking about a universe. There's got to be something.
got to be something out there. It might be a planet of roaches. You know
You
what
got
I'm
it. You never know.
saying?
And
You never
the whole thing about that is if you just look at the species count of what's on the earth, all the different type of species and different
Mhm.
subgroups within each species, for instance, that tells you that multiplicity of living life that is just in one place. That's got to be somewhere else. But it's a thing where we have to rely on our speculation and imagination because we can't actually prove a lot of it. But that's just what it is. That's a part of being human.
Yeah, and see, and what I love, I guess for me, and it's probably what I find solace in Star Trek and their fans because I know that some of that love for that show comes from a desire, like holiday week, when judge me by the content of my character and not basically anything else. I know I'm messing up the phrasing, but
Yeah.
by my character, and everything, not like my skin and shit. And Star
Mhm.
Trek, that world exists. And to anybody who's ever been discriminated for their skin or discriminated because their sex, discriminated for whatever, because we just black people as a whole, we all know about discrimination.
Yeah.
To
We know
live,
about it better than anybody.
yeah, to live in a world where that don't exist, and you can't be the shit because you got money.
Mm.
It's all about your mentality. That's what makes you the shit. Who wouldn't want to live in that world?
But keep in mind, with Star Trek, catastrophe, this worldwide disaster had to happen for them to get to that point.
Hold on, but they didn't say. I don't think when they was talking about Zephyr Cochrane. Remember he did. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
That was
Was it a
after a nuclear
nuclear?
war.
Oh shit. You know
So
what?
all the dumbasses had to be
Mhm.
gone for utopia to come about.
Yeah, the barbaric ones.
Right.
You know what I always say? Like if they actually had this science down pat, like I will volunteer to be frozen, wake me up in the year 25, whatever the fuck. Shit. I would.
Yeah, they can freeze me too, but only after I'm dead.
Nah, I don't want to die. I want to be this age or younger. Like I can't, maybe they might have a pill to reverse aging. I don't know. maybe, maybe because them rings around Saturn, they
Yeah.
have kind of altering power or something. Some almost like magical dust. Those rings mean something. They do something. Like if you
Well,
in that realm,
so you familiar with the rainmakers then?
rainmakers. What you mean?
The rainmakers of Saturn.
The rings, yeah, around Saturn a little
Well,
bit.
they claim that it's actual devices that's in there that's creating those rings. Saturn is interesting too because it's got a natural hexagonal shape
Mm,
at its north pole,
mm-hmm.
and that's not uh, normal in nature.
But do they got their own individual asteroid belt going around them? Because most of them things are either some kind of meteorite or asteroid, or are they just moons like within that belt, those rings?
From what I understand, what they are is a collection of debris and dust that might come into that gravitational pull of the planet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's mainly composed of dissolved moons that were destroyed
Mm,
and are maintaining that orbit around Saturn because of the gravitational pull. But that's all just theory. We don't know. We just
right, right.
but it in the absence of absolute knowledge, you can't
Mhm.
have nothing but a theory.
That's it. And we got the Hubble Space telescope, which make us
Yeah,
see.
well, they got a new one, not a web, right?
Yeah, yeah, that because we been found out that it was a planet beyond Pluto. We figured Pluto was just ice. We know that our whole solar system is within an asteroid belt, and the
Right,
Halley Comet is a wayward asteroid. So
right.
wonder it ain't never hit us or whatever. But then if you take the elements from the comet, they try to prove that that's how life is formed anyway. Because if you take those elements you you come down on Earth with the elements we have, everything is carbon dated and carbon based, whatever. And they like things like an amoeba, they can see how that could have came from a comet. And then
Mhm.
just stuff about the nearest star and how long we got left on this earth. We got plenty of time, y'all. Don't worry about it. We plenty of time, plenty of time. We be long. Look, it ain't even worth counting now to send this before this
Mhm.
unless something happened. And
Well, they
I'm
got
fine.
all kinds of theories. They claim they landed a probe on a comet, Ison, the comet Ison that came through, and they
Mm,
landed a probe. NASA shot a probe up, and they actually landed on the probe and was able to do some kind of analysis of the ice particles and things of
mhm,
that nature on that comet, in the tail and on the actual comet. So yeah, I don't know
mm.
how true that is. I'm simply saying that these are things that they are proposing and that they claim they can do and have done. So we know that there's a certain level of knowledge and understanding as it relates to natural things in the universe, or in at least in our solar system.
Yeah, see, the first thing we gotta conquer before we can really get jiggy with it, because we know Betelgeuse is the closest star, and it's a gaseous giant.
Right.
We see the light from Betelgeuse from when they emitted it 500 years ago, Earth time. But
Hmm.
if we can conquer the speed of light,
Which they claim they have.
I don't believe them. I ain't. Hey, I don't believe them. They got, but if they did it, they gonna make it. If they did it, there's probably been some complications. They ain't gonna admit to us until they got that shit down pat. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hun,
how.
you different than me. I don't believe they did none of that shit. But I can understand the thought
Mhm.
process, and I can say, oh, it's possible. Certainly it's possible. Anything is possible. I don't believe none of that propaganda.
It was just as hard just to break the sound barriers. God damn, but like speed of light.
Right.
Mm, I don't know about that one.
Right. And
If
that and what's his name? Yeager, Chuck Yeager, who broke the sound barrier. He damn near died.
I know, right? I know I was not doing that. Look, run me my Catherine Janeway uniform. They do all that. Run me my shit. Because I'm gonna
Spoken
be
like a true naval officer.
that's right. That's right. Star Trek is the Navy. Y'all must know.
Yeah.
That's why I probably had a problem with Deep Space Nine because that was like a a combination base. You know, you had some
Yeah,
but I think his first number one was she Army or Marine?
she was a Bajoran.
But she was Marine or something. But oh, so
Oh,
she was
you talking about his chief officer. She was a alien. I forget what she was, her rank. I know what you're talking about though.
some kind. She wasn't Navy. She
No, she
wasn't
was
Navy.
Starfleet. You talk. See, he had the Starfleet officer, the one that was Worf married.
Mm-hmm.
Then she had he had a Bajoran like associate or assistant. She was
Mm-hmm.
from the planet where the wormhole was.
Okay. Yeah. One they settled right there near
Right
a wormhole.
at the wormhole. Right. That's what
Okay.
makes it so interesting. You say you didn't like Deep Space. Deep Space Nine is. Well, I put it like this. I understand what you said though, because the beginning kind of interesting, the middle got kind of boring, but the end is fantastic. I'm talking
Oh,
about the end of the series of the shows.
but I mean, I'll look at it. I can look at it today and just jump right in.
Oh,
Plus,
check it out. You get a chance. When
the
they
dude
start
who
fighting the
played it,
Dominion and all that, that shit
oh,
became
yeah, that was
interesting.
some shit right there.
Right.
But the end, I mean, in the guy who played Cisco, that was Hawk.
Right.
Spencer
Right.
Fry. I used to watch that show.
He
I
played the hell out that character.
Didn't he though? Hawk was
Yeah.
my man, boy. Shit.
Right.
Hawk was
Avery
my
Brooks.
yes, yes.
Brother Avery Brooks.
Remember how he used to be like Spencer? Yeah. Then when he finally cut when he had that taco meat on his head, I like, come on, bro. They don't even know how to dress you in this
I
Cisco.
think that was a wig.
That shit pissed me off. That taco meat, man.
I
Get the
think that was a wig. I don't think Avery Brooks had hair, really. I think he always was bald. They just
yeah, because he was
glued a
bald as
wig
fuck,
on his head
right?
because that hair did not look
Yeah.
natural.
That shit looked horrible. But then
Remember, during the show, he went back to bald.
yeah, he did. And
Right.
that's when I could start watching it. Maybe my turn off was the taco meat. But I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
like in the show, Voyager kind of came out around that same time. And once it was a female captain, I was gone. You know,
Yeah.
Scott Bakula from
Yeah.
Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
I don't like his show. I
His
can't
show
do
was called what
I
was the name of
forgot.
his it was like a prequel to
To Kirk time.
yeah. Yeah.
This is like probably like the closest we could ever be to Star Trek time, which could be good. I didn't like their uniforms. I didn't, it was so their shit was rudimentary. I
Yeah.
just but this Discovery shit, this Michael Burnham, okay, bitch. I'm like, I'm with it. I'm with
Mhm.
it.
He
I'm
was
with
one of
it.
the
Burnham.
Burnham name is one of the original creators of Next Generation. He's
Are
one of the
they?
main writers, yeah. That's where they got the name from.
Okay, well, her name is Michael. That threw me through a loop. And the
That was
fact
his
that
name,
she was
Michael
supposed to
Burnham. So they
is
just
it?
named her after him.
Go ahead now. Look at that. Look, see, I learned something today. And
Mhm.
then she was grew up as Spock's sister, adopted sister.
So she's a Vulcan.
She got Vulcan tendencies. She's a human, but she got Vulcan.
Oh, she just was raised as a Vulcan.
Yeah, her
Oh,
parents
okay.
got
That might
killed.
be interesting. Yeah.
She a black chick too, y'all. First
Yeah,
black
I know that. Yeah.
captain, in Starfleet,
Well, she's the
and the way
second black captain. She's the first black female one.
right. And the that's right, because the horror became a captain and the admiral. That's
And Cisco was a captain. His
that's
name was
right.
Captain Cisco. So actually, she would be the third then and the second black
There we
female.
go.
Right.
There we go. I know
Okay.
y'all said, damn, we probably the only two in here talking. So I'm gonna go ahead and this. But we do need to get like a online talk where people can talk about Star Trek. I'll probably sit back and be quiet because I know there's people that know it better than me. But when I
Well,
say addictive,
that's how these boxing channels is. Don't make that mistake because everybody should have some kind of input, even casual fans, even though they might not know. Like me,
mm,
I know a lot about boxing, but I don't know everything about boxing.
mhm.
I learn stuff from different people all the time. I watch a dude. It's a British dude. I don't know if you want me to say his name of his channel, but I watch a dude. And he's very insightful. I learned stuff from him,
Yeah, I don't know.
shit that I didn't know.
Unless we said something positive, I don't want to say nothing negative about somebody else's channel. That's the only thing. Like, I mean, you could always tell your experience. I'm not into censorship, but if we could say it in a way, if we're gonna just name a channel, then I want, let's be positive. But if you talking about your personal experience with a channel or something like that, find a way to say it without saying it. You know what I'm saying? That's how.
Right, right,
Because
right.
I
Well,
ain't,
he don't need no more promotion. I'm just simply saying that I watch different channels, and some of
Mhm.
them are jerks because all they do is talk rigmarole. Half the shit they talk about, they don't even understand what they talking about. Half the shit they looking at, far as the actual boxing matches, they don't even understand what they're seeing. They just think
Mhm.
they do.
True, true, true. Yeah, like, yeah, and you know what? I got a lot of casual people. We dropped them, but I got a lot of casual people that watch me, and so sometimes I be redundant in what I'm saying because I know some of you guys know more than who I be trying to speak to, but I'm trying to speak to the lowest of these, and I'm talking about people with knowledge of boxing. So thank y'all for listening. We didn't got off on a tangent. I didn't even know I was gonna be here that long, but I am such a Trekkie. And that's cool to talk to somebody from Detroit. That's what I like about this show too. I can talk to people from Japan, Cali, all over the country because the news we getting about Flint and all that, Flint and everything, ain't the same news that he know. He right there, and just like he had to tell me like what I was thinking was wrong as far as how it how it came to be and everything. So hey, cool. If y'all got some relevant information y'all want to pass and make sure it's spread around the country and all that, feel free to come through and all that. And hopefully it's just relevant information, not just gossip. I like gossip too, but we try to say that for Friday. Grown woman talk. But anywho, when you know better, you do better, right? So y'all know my motto. So look, thank y'all for joining me. And then we get try to go mosey on to some other folks' channels. Peace.